What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast. Have you guys checked out the new Speed Bandit from Simpson motorcycle helmets? It's a fresh new design that boasts a very affordable $279 price tag. I have had the Speed Bandit for quite some time. It's super lightweight, utilizes the same visor as the Ghost Bandits, and overall, it's sick as hell. Head on over to simpsonmotorcyclehelmets.com to check out all the models, finishes, and visor options, and also give them a follow on Instagram at Simpson Motorcycle Helmets. John Jessup's Dream Rides is your hub for everything Harley-Davidson out of Stockton, California. It's the spot for in-house dyno tuning, customizing, parts, service, and bike sales. Also check out teamdreamrides.com online store to see the full array of products for your bike and you as a rider. And you can take advantage of the 100 days same as cash financing on all products. All you need is a job and a bank account. And while you're at it, give John and the team a follow at DreamRidesJohn on Instagram. Lexin Moto not only can keep your helmet banging with your favorite tunes or podcasts with the FT4 Pro, but now offers their WPC QI wireless charger, which is a water-resistant wireless charger for the Ram Mount X Grip. This easy-to-set-up system uses a battery tender style plug for easy install and will only set you back $64.95 with a 2-year unlimited warranty. You can also grab yourself a Lexin WPC and Ram X mount for $110 at lexin-moto.com. And at checkout, drop the Fast Life offer code to save yourself 15% off. And don't forget to give the team a follow at Lexin Moto on Instagram. thundermax and their ECM computers are designed to provide your EFI-equipped Harley-Davidson the most advanced auto-tuning available. A thundermax ECM eliminates the hassles of upgrading your motorcycle's performance by allowing you, the user, the ability to simply download a base map and let the computer do the rest. Also a hot item is their iRide rear suspension, which is a performance air ride rear suspension, giving you the ability to adjust many aspects from the handlebar mounted touchscreen. This rear suspension is the best of both worlds. Check out these products and many more at shoptmax.com and use offer code FASTLIFE at checkout to save yourself 10% off. And give these guys a follow at thundermax EFI on Instagram. Paint Huffer Metal Flake is your #1 source to get dialed in with the latest flakes, pearls, and other custom paint related products. Paint Huffer has grown to become the standard in the custom paint game, and you can get down with these badass products as well at painthuffer.com. And you can save yourself some coin by using FastLife20 offer code at checkout. And last but not least, you can get some inspiration by checking out Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram. Yo, welcome back. I know it's been a minute. Glad you guys stuck around and waited for us to get some shit together. Really excited about this podcast. Had to make a couple edits on it, no big deal, but it's here and ready for your ears. I got Brandon, who owns Brass Tacks Barber Shops here in Dallas, which is where my wife works, and Patrick Hawley, who is employed by the Moto Co. So good dudes, ripping bikes, riding miles, just like I love. And, we just caught up and hung out and drank some beers and laughed about a lot of stuff, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So without further ado, here we go. Patrick Hawley and Brandon. I don't know your last name, Brandon, but Brandon. Brass Tacks. Here we go.
Hey, guys. You ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
Welcome, motherfuckers.
Hell yeah, dude.
Started off right.
Having me.
Dude, yeah, you guys have been hosting shit all over town for the last fucking summer.
Oh, yeah.
My whole 2020 summer is going to be masks, don't touch people, and go to the stand and hang out with the Brass Tacks crew and all you motherfuckers.
I like it, dude.
It's going to be it's been awesome years despite all the craziness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
COVID.
Fucking crazy, man.
It's been weird, dude. I just started a new job, and now I have to, my whole team is halfway across the country, and I'm just sitting here like a dickhead just in front of my computer, like, I don't know you, but I'm trying to tell you what to do. It's just the weirdest dynamic. But, I don't know. I like it here, though. Texas is great.
Dallas is, man, like, like we were talking about earlier, I was telling you about Rogan's moving here and all that shit,
yeah.
Which is super, awesome for Texas as a whole, but Dallas is still like that, we're not as Houston has like the rap culture took place in the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're known for. That
Slim Thug.
Yeah, Slim Thug, the DJ
grills
Screw,
and shit.
Yeah, Paul Wall.
Yeah,
Paul
dude.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you got Austin, which is Austin's been like the shining light of Texas for the last probably 10 years at least, and then Dallas is just chugging along. We got the best skyline in Texas. That's for damn sure.
Damn
That's
right.
how I feel.
Every time
Yeah.
I come back from the Brass Tacks stuff, I'll just be on my bike, and because I live downtown, I'm just going over the aqueduct. Or is it the viaduct or aqueduct?
It's the shit river.
Aqueduct, the shit river.
Yeah, it's
The Trinity, dude. That's where the
It's an old
poop
soul
is.
song, shit river. And I'm going over it, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm out of my body because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm on a shovel, arms are up here, like what looks like Las Vegas is in front of
Sure,
me, and
yeah.
nothing else around. It's just the most beautiful experience ever. It's unbelievable.
It is, man. And like when people come from out of town, like I was like, look, the heat in the day is not worth it. Let's just stay inside. Let's watch some Netflix or something.
Indoor activities.
And then as soon as about 6:37 hits, let's just go cruise. It's like I said, last night I went and just kind of did a couple loops around Dallas, hit all the bridges, and I was like, man,
That's the best.
as much as I hate the world right now sometimes and all the shit going on, it's like when I just cruise through these streets of Dallas and I see the skylines and I see all the culture and all the different things from like Bishop Arts to the Singleton, I don't know what they call that area. Is it Trinity Groves?
Trinity
Groves.
All the restaurants and stuff.
When you see all that shit, you're like, fuck yeah, man, we get it.
Dude, they're fucking. The whole city is changing. I feel like.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what. The reason why Dallas is the way it is right now, which is awesome and undiscovered, is because California hasn't figured out that it exists yet.
Yeah.
Like
They're
it's
figuring-
California and
they're
New York
figuring it
haven't
out.
realized what Dallas is. All of my friends that like the people who came out to shoot you guys, my friends from California come out here, and the first thing they do when they land back into California is, I didn't know Dallas was so fucking rad. And I'm
Yeah.
like, don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone.
Dude, we have
Stop moving here.
for lack of a better term, we have a weird culture. It's
In
not-
Dallas?
It's not weird culture. It's just
How
like
so? Compared to what?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say
it's
this.
just like
but
a mix.
it's just a mix of all these different cultures that make this party culture that we have.
Definitely.
Like we have the best patios in America.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, 'cause
100%.
It stays hot here year round.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can ride.
Oh, you're
you can
riding.
ride like
Yeah.
every day.
Right, every day. Well, the difference. So I was telling you earlier, both of you guys, how I was living on the West Coast for a long time, and I was living in Portland, Seattle, and then Oakland, and then LA. And what I realized, the difference is between like the party cultures or the whatever the
The
bar
nightlife.
and nightlife stuff.
Yeah.
Is that up in the Northeast where it rains all the time and it's not like the most kind of enjoyable place to be most of the year if you're going to be outside, is that they're real good at indoor activities. So like there's like really good, bars and restaurants and things that you do when it's raining. And then the more you go south, the better the outdoor activities are.
Yeah.
And I feel like Dallas is like a perfect mix of both of those.
Yeah, because in the wintertime we get hoodie and flannel, weather
Yeah, yeah,
basically,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
not quite like, like
Winter coat.
when it snows, it's like
Thank God.
it's passing through like a thunderstorm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 And it hasn't snowed here in like 2 or 3 years, so
Yeah.
we've been good.
I was here when it was snowing 5 years ago.
Yeah, 15 was the worst one.
Yeah.
That was when,
It was weird.
15 was the year, because I remember that year real distinctively because it snowed in March.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah.
That was strange.
So I was, that white big wheel that's on the wall downstairs,
Mm-hmm.
I was building that in my garage down the street, and I was getting ready to ride that to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And literally we left the day after the snow was done and it was melting. So it was a crazy
Yeah,
trip, man.
I've never ridden a big wheel before,
It sucks.
but
It sucks.
No, it
it
doesn't
looks
suck.
like fun actually.
It put it like this. So I got a 21 on that Road Glide now, right? And that felt so different. Like I've ridden big wheels before. I've been on that kick for a long time.
Right.
And then I started riding, 19, 18 setup basically. And I love that feel. But then that 21 just looks sick as fuck. I don't
Yeah.
care who you are. I
It
just
does.
think it's more proportionate. It looks really good. But man, that wheel's so much more heavy. And I feel it now that I'm riding
Yeah.
more aggressively.
yeah.
But no, the big wheel thing, like back then, I didn't ride the way I ride now, or I wasn't attempting to ride this way. I was just cruising everywhere, so
Yeah.
it felt normal.
Yeah.
More
I
chill.
rode it all the way across the country, no issues. You know what I mean?
Man, that's what's
Yeah.
up.
That's like, I'm kind of on that chopper kick right now, and I always loved. I think Jason Jesse was having a bike built by Max Schaff in Oakland called the Black Tibetan, where he had like a 24-inch knobby tire on the front of his panhead. And I was just like, I remember watching like some kind of YouTube video or something about it back in the day. And when I lived in Oakland, Max Schaff was kind of like the dude out there. He still is the dude or whatever. But it's like that's dude, so fucking cool.
I got a Max Schaff story for you. It's not really a story. It's like my story of Max Schaff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that what was it? 6 over or 3 over? What was that?
6 over.
6 over, dude. Yeah. That documentary series or whatever the hell you want to call it was so fucking dope, man.
Yeah,
they gotta put that on YouTube. They gotta put that somewhere that's so VOD that allows people to actually buy it. Because right now, if you go on Dice, like you can buy it, but you have to buy a DVD. Who the fuck is a DVD player anymore?
Yeah, come on, dude.
Like
it's like the guy selling CDs at the damn fucking gas station. Bro, what am I doing?
Check my mixtape.
I'm gonna put it on a necklace, bro. What's going on? So no, so when I first got into the thing, like I said, the 21 Days in the Sun, is it Sky or Sun? Sky. I always
shout out Kirbyus.
Yeah. That shit changed my life, man, because I was riding big wheels, but I was doing that chopper shit on big wheels, right? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't really popular amongst the big wheel crowd. So, and then that's when Chopper Supply was like the shit here, right?
Was the shit, yeah.
So it was like the collection of all the chopper dudes pretty much in the Midwest or the Southwest. Yeah, they were.
I was bringing my family over there, and I saw a Chopper Supply come because I was riding my shovel over there. I was just like, wait,
it's not there anymore. But man, there was a heyday, if you could say that, within here.
It was, it was. Cool.
It was really cool, man. You can go down there they did all the pre-parties for the Southern Throwdown and shit, and I had a blast. But I remember watching those videos, finding out Chopper Supply existed, went over there, met the dude, instantly became friends with the guy. Mm-hmm. And I remember he invited me the pre-party for the Southern Throwdown. It was like 2016. Yeah. And I was there hanging out, partying. I don't know anybody. And then I met Scott from Chemical Candy, JP Rodman from Ratone, and then Max Schaff is there. I'm like, saw him on fucking TV, dude. I was like nerding out. I was like, man, I want to go say something to him because he's a painter as well. And I felt like I had an in. Yeah. I just never did.
No, his paint's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. And it's Chopper as fuck, man. Like the video of him showing him kind of like just like fuck it in the backyard. I'm like, man, like I wish I could do that kind of shit.
Right? Dude, well, it's a different world, right?
It's a different world, man. Like there's a different expectation. But what it is, that type of art, the way he's creating that art is very, it's very romantic and inspiring to me. Right. To create it that way.
It's a nostalgia versus a contemporary kind of nature, which is what your paint is more or less, right? It's kind of like you're pushing it forward.
I'm a more corporate version of that. Yeah.
Why do you say that? Just because of the bikes?
Well, I don't know. Like there's something kind of like. When you look at that whole chopper culture, right, that kind of emerged through the social media platforms from YouTube and all this stuff, it's inspiring. Yeah, for sure. There's nobody that can say that they can watch any of those videos and not be like, fuck, man, that looks rad. The camaraderie and friendships to hang out in the garages, like we all want that shit as dudes, man. Dude. Yeah. We all want a group of dudes that on a Tuesday night we can go kick it on a parking lot, a fucking garage, or a couch and just have a beer and be yourself, right? Yeah. And those videos of that shit, like I was already doing that, but I wanted to do it to where we were talking. I just wanted to evolve into different types of bikes and different. I wanted the conversation to be about, man, let's build this bike, and man, we can't wait to ride it across country. Yeah. Like that's not like, oh man, I can't wait to go to the parking lot and turn my stereo on. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, take it for a ride, dude.
Yeah,
there's
this
fun part.
Yeah.
Well, it changed it, man.
That's like the whole kind of, the kind of mental side of just the way our brains work about pleasure and understanding of the future state and all kind of stuff. It's like the most pleasurable part about taking a trip, for example, is not the trip itself; it's the anticipation of it.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm leaving in a day and some change right now. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how was y'all's trip though?
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, dude.
I was working on that bike the whole time.
Dude, he said that.
Dude, I was sweating my ass off from the time we left until we got to fucking Nashville. Basically, we roll into Nashville, the headlight snaps off, dude. It made it the whole way.
It's Chopper, bro.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But the trip itself was amazing.
That was your first, big trip?
On that bike.
Have you done anything else other than that?
Not on that bike.
Not like any far trips like that many miles?
No, actually, I think that was the farthest ride I've ever done. Oh, and it was on a chopper.
You made a mistake. Me, dude. You're about to have a
Yeah.
We're gonna go some long shit.
Yeah, we're planning.
Don't hang out with me
so
either,
many
dude.
rides.
I'm the worst. I'm a bad influence.
Well, we're going to Sturgis too.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be a bad influence.
That
up
makes
there,
one
too.
of us,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, I can't
Have
wait.
fun out there. Wear masks.
yeah, you can't go.
Gotta wear a mask.
But yeah, we so again, shout out Josh Kerpius for the hookup on this one. Unfortunately, because of COVID and everything, like he couldn't make his way out here for the ride, but he was going to ride with us. And I was on the phone with him, and I was talking about wanting to go to Nashville, and because my wife used to go there a lot, and she likes it a lot. I've always kind of heard about it. I want to check it out. Being in Texas, it's not too far away. So he's like, "Have you heard of the Notches Trace?" And I'm like,
Dude.
"Not particularly. I mean, most of the riding I've done has been in West Coast, Mexico, that kind of stuff." And so I was like, "No, I've never been there before, never even heard of it." And he's like, "Dude, you gotta check it out." So I Googled it. I was like, "This is the most insane road ever. It's literally a magic carpet for 500 miles."
Yeah.
And so
it's like 55, 60 the whole way.
it's unbelievable, especially being on
Yeah, it's
choppers. Like, we're not going fast. We got a pack behind us. We're leaning on it. It's like you're in an Easy Boy or a Lazy Boy, whatever
Lazy
the hell
Boy.
it's called.
Easy Boy sounds way cooler. Though.
Easy
Yeah,
Boy.
it should be.
Easy Boy's my rap name.
Yeah.
But we were on those like for I mean, how many days did we ride on the Notches for?
It was like 3 days.
3 days?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, we got to there. We took the 20 to Shreveport.
Yeah.
From Dallas, and that was fine. We basically like looked
Yeah, that was
at
great.
the route
My fucking clutch pedal broke off.
because you got the fucking cool guy clutch with the fucking the jockey shift and everything.
Oh, you jockey shift
It's
all the way out
straight
there?
chopper, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my first bike like that.
It was long as hell.
I had a shovel head before this, but it wasn't set up like that.
Yeah.
This is the first one I've had like that. It takes some getting used to.
Dude, I rode my buddy FXR Mike. We traded my Dyna for his. He had a shovel head. It was still a swing arm, but it was all like that. I was like, I have to think every time I stop now.
Yeah, you have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
It's like
It's not
the
enjoyable.
same.
It's
Yeah,
got a little bit of
it's
anxiety
different-
to it, too.
It
Yeah.
does a lot of anxiety.
It's sketchy, dude.
Yeah.
It's sketchy because, like, we were, I'm riding behind him, and it's funny because he's at 78, I got 79, and by all means, they should be basically the exact same bike. But when you like
totally
going on a ride like that, you totally realize that, like, after a certain amount of time, all bikes are just however they were maintained or rebuilt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, dude.
And so I was riding behind him, and speaking of the clutch pedal, my dumbass didn't even think
He's
that
like, something
when I saw
off 20 minutes ago. I'm like, oh, I might have needed that. It was my fucking clutch pedal.
I'm not even thinking, man. I'm in the zone. I got these I'm listening probably to a podcast. I might have been listening to this podcast. Actually.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like zoning out. It's we're trying to basically beat the fucking sun at that point, trying to get to Shreveport, and I see like a little glint in my eye, and just kind of goes, and I was like, oh, that was interesting.
You just go like, I'm going to act like I didn't see that.
Just keep going.
I don't want to be responsible for this. It's his job.
But tell him how you fixed it.
So I used a vice grip.
Dude.
Just fucking clamped it on there super tight. It worked until Shreveport.
Dude, you could have welded that shit on there, and it would have looked chopper as fuck.
I know. I was thinking that. I was like, vice grip.
Vice grips have saved, like my buddy
Sponsor
Jaden in our camp out. He washed out on a thing, and somebody had a vice grip, so you just clamped it right there on the shifter on a Dyna.
Yeah.
And you're able to just reach down and click it down and up.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's the best tool.
it's
the vice grip. It's
so the
essential.
coolest thing was like Danger Dan, like he one time I was somewhere with him, and I was like, why do you have a vice grip just on your frame? Like it's just clamped onto his frame. He goes,
Just in
dude,
case.
you never know. It's
Exactly.
like, and it's like, this is the perfect tool because you just clamp. It's like an accessory to your bike now. It's like, oh man, I got that new fucking vice grip. You know what I mean?
I want to use it.
They're good for
Something
passenger
break.
pegs
Yeah.
too.
He's got that, passenger pegs, just fucking clank.
Just
them
two
on.
mini ones, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, I've done that before.
Now that I never even knew about that Notches Trace. So where did it start? Like where was the start of that trail? And it goes straight to Nashville or
It
what?
starts in Notches.
Notches,
which is a
Mississippi.
beautiful town.
Right on the river. So we went there. So where did we stop in between? Because so the original plan was that we start in Dallas, then go to Shreveport. To give reference, like the way that we planned this trip was you go on Google and then you go avoid highways. And that's just, that was our plan, because we're like,
That was it.
like, all right, cool. Like my past was in kind of the Dyna FXR kind of scene. And I was like, oh, I'm going to like see what going slow is all about.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's fucking great.
Yeah.
We went on the 20. The plan was to go to 20 to Shreveport to Natchez, Mississippi, which is where it starts. But we ended up stopping because where did we stop?
We stopped because it got dark.
It got dark. You remember the town? Some small town.
Yeah.
That,
we stayed in that haunted motel. It was trippy.
Yeah. So we found this town out of the middle of nowhere. There's like that weird kind of voodoo that happens when you're riding.
Louisiana's full of that shit.
Yeah.
Is it?
And
It's
you're
a
just
sketchy spot. Like,
dude,
shit.
where you're just riding and all of a sudden you come across a town, you're like, I should probably stop here. And then it ends up being the coolest town ever.
yeah.
So we ended up stopping this place and they had, I think it was one of the first towns in Texas or one of the first incorporated like major towns in Texas. And so they had all this like beautiful Victorian era, hotels and all that kind of stuff. And we stayed at this place that we looked at it. We're like, this is probably haunted. And he goes in, and he's like, is this haunted?
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you got the tour, but we stayed at that place, and it was super awesome. We had kind of an extra stop in there, but so we didn't spend the night in Shreveport, but we ended up going to be able to get your bike fixed over there, right, in Shreveport.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of that shop, but it was just like a small little.
I wish we could shout them out.
shop.
They were great, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up because I want to shout them out because they're great.
Good luck.
They're actually
phone?
closed, but
Oh yeah, you got
helped us out
Wi-Fi.
anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look through your photos. I promise.
It's cool. I stopped taking pictures of my dick a long time ago. Can't see it.
Can't see. He said.
You got to make sure it still exists, man.
I grab something down there every once in a while. But no, that when you like, for a lot of people, especially people that haven't ridden a lot of miles, it's I think it's probably like one of the first things people think about is the most scenic things, like the $1 Million Highway or PCH or the spots in Sturgis and Blue Ridge Parkway, Teledragon. But man, I've found it some of the most awesome feeling riding I've done has been like in some cornfield in Kansas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like when I think about going through Louisiana, I've been through a couple times, but deep in Louisiana, I've only been like once or twice. There's a vibe you get going through there. It has a vibe, dude. Like it has a like this feeling when you're going through it. It's kind of like cool, but kind of like, man, like what's this about? Like what's this terrain about? What kind of history is here? What kind of shit took place here? You know what I mean? And it kind of changes. Yeah.
Dude.
And you got
It's
those
totally
people
different.
that like you wonder if they've ever like. I think we got Amazonian people living in Louisiana still that have never seen technology.
They live on the river.
Yeah. Dude, have you ever left like New Orleans and you're on that long ass bridge coming back towards Texas and you're like on the bridge for like 5 miles or something.
Time.
And there's a house down there. It's just a house underneath the bridge that has like shit there.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Like
I've
a
been
little
on that
hut.
bridge though, for sure.
Dude, I left there on a bike. We went to Daytona in 2018 and on the way back, we were riding across that bridge and I'm real observant when I ride.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, is that like a fucking like a hunting, what do they call those things? Like a
lodge or something?
Like a lodge or like a fucking deal, but it's like
Hideaway.
it's way too ratty for that shit. It looks like they just squatted there, dude.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean?
That's where the gators live.
Since forever.
The gator house.
Dude, and that's like there's got to be so much shit like that. You think about like a lot of the people up in like Canada and shit that just move into the mountains and figure it out.
Turn to hermits.
But then there's like Louisiana and they do it too. down
Yeah,
there.
they go into the swamps.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking out there for sure.
But no,
I dig that though. That's cool. That's like people actually are just like, all right, cool. I'm just going to go off the grid and just figure it out.
I dig it too, man.
Well, especially in 2020 with all this bullshit that's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to.
He
move
figured
to
out
the
how to
country.
live without a credit score. That's fucking amazing.
That is the fucking dream.
That was so when I was a kid. I can't find it, man. They were great though.
Just pay cash.
Whoever fixed your shit in Shreveport's the best. Just
Google it.
shout out them.
Shreveport Bike Shop.
Shreveport Bike Shop. It's well, you
like
can't
the
Google it because I
only,
couldn't
like,
find it.
Small Harley shop.
But it was
that we
awesome.
Found there.
But speaking of living off the grid, when I was a kid, I lived outside Boston, but I spent my summers up in Maine. Worked for my uncle, who's an electrician up there. And,
That's kind of like Louisiana up there, huh?
it's a little bit like
Is it?
yeah.
I've heard it was like
it's-
rural as fuck. Like,
yeah. It's the more north you get, the more south you get, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And so I would work for him.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I worked for him, and my whole family's from up there, and he ended up marrying my aunt and then buying a bunch of land from my grandfather in a town that no one fucking knew about until someone from New York found out about it. Now it's all bougie. But back then, even when I was working there, he would tell me stories of like how he built his little mini empire there. Like he's a blue collar dude. He's an electrician. Like I would go wire boxes and hang sheetrock for him every summer. But I'm like, how do you have 5 houses?
Yeah.
How does that work? How do you have 5 houses and a fucking 71 Chevelle SS?
I got a statement, I guess is the word I'm looking for. We've been drinking.
I have words to say.
I have words to add to the story.
I have words, bro.
Well, go ahead. I just need to make a statement there. No, dude, like my buddy Brad, he did the AC here. His dad's the same way. He's like an old school, AC guy that's just been doing all the buildings and houses all over here. Dude's got houses out the ass and shit. I think in the 70s and 80s and even 90s, they had nothing else to spend their money on.
Cocaine.
Well, maybe that. But
it's Maine, not Miami, dude. Come on.
like think about how
America.
Think about how much shit like we're influenced by.
Yeah.
Like every day, like we wake up, our women are wake up there online, like, oh, that dress is cute. Oh, that bike's badass. And, that dude's fucking Vans are dope. I got to buy those now, and all this shit. So you end up like we're so consumed with consumerism, basically,
for sure.
To where like I don't feel like like we're so used to, and I like the fact because I grew up where like when we stopped at the gas station, I couldn't go get me a soda.
Right.
Like, oh no, we got gas money. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Now I go to the gas station 3 times a day and drop $7 each time. Just on fucking
What are you
Monster.
buying?
Just fucking like comfort shit.
Snacks.
Monster
bro.
Energy is comfort to you? You want to be jacked up?
No,
bro?
it's
When he's painting, I'm sure, and he's like,
I got to be up
helps
for
your
12
focus.
hours.
yeah. You just
got the touring.
After the
in there.
12 hours.
I wish that I could just not. But when you're in a zone, you just got to feed your body whatever it tells you it wants at the moment. Like I want sugar. Fuck it. Here you go, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. So no, I feel like there's a different thing where they don't have as much. Not only that, like think about it. Like if you want to see the world back then, like how would you be influenced by that? You had to look at National Geographic or PBS.
Yeah.
Or see a movie that was like Bond or some shit where they were all over the world.
Yeah.
Other than that,
That's a good point.
You never was really inspired to travel.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, especially
Now
if
you
you're
can
growing
see
up.
all of it though.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you're growing up in Blue Hill, Maine, where
That's what I'm getting
my
at,
uncle Mike,
yeah.
he not only grew up there, but he lived there his entire life, and he bought like a plot of land from my grandfather, and I saw this for the first time. He always tells me stories. I thought he was lying out his ass, but he's like, I had a tent and an outhouse, and that was my marital home with your aunt for a year while I built the house next to it.
Probably had the
mean-
best sex of his life in that tent.
Exactly. They probably had a
I
lot
don't
of
want to
good
think about
times.
it. Come on, yeah. My aunt is a saint. They were living in a tent. They had an house.
They're gonna hear this and be like, "What the fuck?"
Okay.
They live in Maine, man. Podcasts don't exist there.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
They're still in the tent, by the way.
he was living in the tent, and he had the outhouse, and then he ended up building a house, and then they would live in that house while he was working, and then he was building another house, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And now he's got, I said 5 houses. Now he's got actually like 8. And he just like my last house I helped him build was what he called the field house, which is I have a big family. And there's a room for every single person in the family.
Damn.
And it's got a fucking jacuzzi tub in each one of them.
Dude.
That's
There's
what
an
you
Does
want.
it have Bluetooth?
There's an indoor
With
pool.
LED lights.
Indoor pool. It should,
That's
right? Because
gangster.
that's your
what I'm
vibe.
getting.
That's your vibe.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
But,
We're
like,
playing Buck Cherry on that
He
shit.
ended
Dude, they're playing the Sturgis, man. Buck Cherry.
They are?
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh my God. You
I
guys
mean,
get out of
I
here.
know
Crazy
their
bitch.
songs. It's not like I bought a fucking CD or something, but I know who they are.
Yeah.
And I will watch them live.
So anyway, I saw this dude. I was just trying to tell a story.
Just finish it, dude.
Buck Cherry, motherfucker.
So anyway, I was just like, all right, cool. How do you do this? Like, how do you actually like go from just a tent to having like all these houses, lake houses? Fucking, he always had boats. That's where my first motorcycle was with this dude, and so I was just like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And this is one of those dudes. Going back to how this originally started was you're saying you saw some random person when you were riding through Louisiana, and you saw this dude who just had a house out of nowhere. It's like, that was my fucking uncle. That dude could be like a land baron now. You have no idea, but like there's something about people who are just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, and then that's really attractive to me. Like, so,
Dude,
like
I
you
get
guys,
that, yeah.
like you as business owners, like I live off the corporate teat, honestly. Like I've owned my own business for a good amount of time, but like currently I work for a larger business. But seeing you guys and what you've done and what you've built is so inspiring to me, and it's so like interesting to me, because that was kind of the first entree into, you know, adulthood, into self-sufficiency I ever saw. Because my uncle, I saw him, I'm just like, dude, you're a blue collar guy, but all of a sudden you have, you know, this empire. How the fuck does that work?
It takes time.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were to do all the things that you're doing for your job right now for yourself, start your own business, you'd be a fucking billionaire. Because you're a hustler, dude. I've seen you.
Trust me, you don't want to be a billionaire. I met one of them, and they're the most miserable person ever. Okay. But there was also one person. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only like 12 of them, though.
I feel like once you're a billionaire, the only way that you get to that is the only way you get to be a billionaire is, you know, through working so hard and so much and creating an infrastructure around yourself to where you can never stop working. Yeah. There's no way for you to go from being a billionaire to being some dude off the grid chilling. There's no way that
you become
happens.
way too important, especially in
I don't want that.
You become a big part of our economy at that point.
Yeah.
To where like Secret Service comes and has a talk with you and sits you down. Like, hey, here's the deal. There's aliens. Put that out there.
Okay, cool.
And they run this shit.
I want to know this.
Exactly.
I want to know this.
No.
They're Illuminati aliens.
In the news right now, fucking aliens, UFOs.
Dude, that shit blew my mind that nobody brought that up anymore. It's like
nobody's talking about it.
Okay, there are aliens, but somebody's fucking kids.
Exactly. Not just somebody, a lot of motherfuckers.
And also a bunch of people are coughing on each other.
Yeah.
So.
And there's that. So there's that. But
it's just a global pandemic.
Man, don't get me started on all that shit. I'll go for the whole fucking podcast.
We'll give you the last part of the podcast to go off on all your conspiracy theories. No, but like with that being said, like that's something that's always been inspiring to me when I see like my friends' parents or even. I don't really have anybody in my family that way. We've always been like just the worker bees kind of vibe. Yeah. But yeah, you see dudes that like can just hustle and grind and put back money, and they live on very small means to where, you know, like if you think about it, like the money that we all probably make, we could do those kind of things, but we're just too busy living as well. And it's almost like this flip of a switch to where like I feel like we spend a lot of our money enjoying our life nowadays than building equity. You know what I mean?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Which is
traveling,
which is scary.
It's scary, but it's like.
But at the same time,
if you don't have kids. I don't have any kids, so it's like, what am I saving for?
But building equity is important, man. Like you got to like think about the future and stuff too, which you know you have because you've built equity in yourself in your own business.
I mean, you have a really great business with the brass tacks and stuff that it's inspiring to me because. You can leave. Yeah. Like you're making money now, dude. What's it like, Jordan over here? How much money did you make last 5 minutes, dude?
I will not talk about that.
But it's a
millions.
That's the kind of business you want to have is where you create something that is a pool of other creatives that come in and make shit happen. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And
that way it's, you know, and they're all, even though they all work for you, they all feel like they have their own business in a sense because they cultivate their own clientele.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the best part. Just being able to like separate myself from it.
Yeah.
You know, for like a couple days or like, I like the way that our system is set up because, you know, everybody gets 3.5 days off.
Yeah, dude. My wife loves that.
So you can go on a bike trip every week if you want to.
Yeah.
But you're still getting your 40 hours in your regular paycheck.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And y'all do like 12-hour days, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's really not that bad. Like when you're a professional in this world and you work for a living, like a real living, not like Walmart and McDonald's where you're ready to clock out. Hey, I'll be the first one to leave. 12 hours ain't shit. Like that's a daily thing. So it's like for you to grind that. And then, I mean, it's 12 loose hours. Let's be real.
Yeah, especially right now with everything that's going on. Like we're doing hour appointments for like every client because we have to clean in between every single appointment. You know, there's a lot of rules that have been Yeah. So it's, you know, everything's like totally different now, but it's way more chill.
Yeah.
And I really like that. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can keep it chill, but still make the same amount of money, you know, because when I first opened the shop, my whole thing was trying to change the system, you know, because there was only like corporations and then really small shops. So if you worked at a small shop, you weren't making any money.
True.
If you worked at like a corporate thing, you know, like a chain.
Floyd's.
you would max out really quick. Yeah. That's what I used to work there. So, you know, coming from that type of atmosphere, when I opened my shop, I was like, I'm about to change all of this shit. We're about to really start making money so that people can support their families, and I can also, you know, own this business and do other things. Like I own other businesses, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't want to just be Brandon the barber guy. I want to be Brandon the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get to do cool shit like this.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's where it's at. I mean, I think, you know, me and you are pretty similar in age.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
1 year.
established that earlier. Yeah. But I think that comes into perspective once you get into your late 30s, that, like, you know, you spend like all your 20s like honing a craft more or less. And then once you get into your 30s, you start thinking like, okay, like I can make this work. I see the industry. I can make a business out of it. You're like, okay. It's almost like the midlife crisis for a hustler.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what other business can I create right now? You know what I mean? Like, where else can I take this knowledge and apply it to some means of another income? You know what I mean?
Especially with social media.
Yeah, dude.
Because you know what's really cool is like you could just have a business that makes you money daily and never ever have to leave your house, because you can get all your groceries online, you can get everything you want online. And so not only like social media, but the internet has changed everything. You know, so you can basically market yourself for free. And then, you know, you can do things like targeted ads or sponsored ads and things like that and reach a broader audience, you know, and you get to, you know, specify who's going to see that.
Yeah.
And so everything is different now. And if you can't make money on the internet, then you're just not trying.
Yeah. And that's, I have these conversations. You know, the thing about the motorcycle industry is that you have your freshest of the fresh guys that grew up with the internet for the most part. And then you got your, like, my generation or our generation, which is technically millennials, where half our life we were fucking, you know, having to open the paper to see what time the movie came out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I miss that stuff, honestly.
I do miss it all too, you know, but we gotta be real with ourselves. Things work better because we have more people now. So we all can't read a newspaper anymore.
Right. We were talking about actually earlier when we were getting breakfast talks before coming over here, that we might have been the last generation where our parents were like, leave the house all day and come back when it's dark.
Go outside.
So I, you know, funny, we were just talking about Buck Cherry. So like 2 podcasts ago, I did a podcast with Xavier, who was the drummer for Buck Cherry, right? And he's a phenomenal bike builder now. He's been a very heavy bike customizer, kind of more or less apprentice under Billy Lane for the last
Fuck yeah, dude.
quite a while.
I had no idea about that. That's cool.
Yeah, he's a rad dude.
Right
And a really fascinating podcast I did with him. But he was telling me his whole grind to get in to be a drummer. And he's from Round Rock, like down there in Austin.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, when I was 10 years old, my mom took me to a Kiss concert and dropped me off. 10 fucking years old. He said that. I was like, wait, I have a question.
Pause. Pause, please.
Like, how? Like, my 10-year-old, dude, I don't even know. Like, maybe it's my fault as a parent, but I just don't think he's capable of much of anything other than playing a video game.
Well, that's the thing.
I had to show him how to wash his own ass, dude. It's fucking crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Everything is like online, or you have a tablet, or you have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going outside and playing, or like building a fort, or like going and playing in the water.
The thing is,
whatever.
that like we live in a world where everything is so. You're able to learn anything immediately.
True.
You can go on YouTube and learn anything. Fucking heart surgery.
You can
whatever.
you can be an expert at something and then walk out and come around the people who are in it and know more about it, even though you haven't lived any of it.
Yeah.
Think about it as bikers, right? Or barbers or whatever. Like, we were all hanging out at the Last Stand having some fucking toporitos.
Yeah.
Is that what they were called?
Yeah,
Toporitos?
You know what they're called. You have
I
them all
don't
the
know.
time.
I'm bad with words sometimes.
Yeah, Topo-Rito, man.
Topo Chico.
Topo-Rita.
Some margarita
Rita.
with Topo Chico in it.
Yeah,
It's the
game changer.
The female
the bubbles.
conjunction.
Yeah. But, you know, you're out there
Conjugation.
doing all this stuff, and then there's some dude that's been spending the last 3 months watching YouTube videos on this culture, and he comes out with all these, like, facts, more or less, but has no
Cultural touch
experience. Cultural touch points, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, man, like, you're right, but it's robotic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could tell that you
Right.
just read that somewhere. You
What's-
didn't actually experience it, maybe.
That's the weird thing is that like you can learn anything, but you can't know anything. Like you don't.
True.
There's learning and knowing, and like learning is the acquisition of knowledge, and knowing is the execution of that knowledge, right? So if you have, you know, you can learn everything about, how to, take a corner, for example. Like if you're trying to learn how to race, right? You can learn all about that, but the first time you actually do it, you're not gonna
still got to put 10,000 hours into it.
Exactly. And so the time that you spend on the internet and can learn anything still like is not going to do you much good in the real world unless you actually put that into practice. It's gonna give you a leg up, but it's not necessarily gonna be bring you to the next level immediately.
That's what I feel like about when you try something, like say for instance like the photography thing.
Yeah.
You try it, you shoot it, you get an understanding of the camera and how it works, but then you go watch millions of YouTube videos. You've already got some hands-on experience, so now these YouTube videos make more sense.
Yeah.
And I imagine it'd be the same thing for cutting hair.
It is, yeah.
When I talked to Britta, my wife, about that, and I'm like, you look at me airbrushing something crazy, and I look at the fact that you're shaping hair.
Yeah.
That lays down sometimes, like your hair, how it's laid down right now. Like I got to make that look. Like, how the fuck do you figure this out?
What do I even do?
Yeah, dude, you got that. It's
like a modern day sculptor, dude. It's like it's a crazy fucking thing to do. That's a profession that seems very like a lot of people in it. Like a lot of people go to beauty school or get a cosmetology degree and barber school stuff. But it's weird. What I like about what y'all have done is that y'all have made it to where this is a different experience than going to pro cuts, or going to like a chain thing. Like you come in there and like I said, like your shop, dude, is kind of like the vibe that like I want my shop to have that vibe when I'm there all day, because you spend most of your time there.
That's it, and that's what I'm going for. Like if I was going to cut hair downstairs, that's what I want, and those are the type of clients that I want as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like pool table, nice couch. I want that couch, by the way.
Yeah, dude.
Shit's dope.
Nebraska furniture.
Oh shit, it's one of those.
Yeah,
Isn't that like a Prince or a fucking like some kind of king name couch is what it's called, with the buttons?
Oh yeah.
I have one.
It's
of those.
the typical barbershop couch.
That's what it is.
With the tufted shit.
Yeah.
I have a different, like a more like modern version of that type of couch.
Yeah, of course.
It's the Prince Albert couch.
You got the SNS version.
It's
Prince Albert couch.
It's royal.
No, but it was a crazy thing, because like I was telling you when we first started talking, I was like, man, when I was telling you about my big business I had a while back with all these investors and shit.
Yeah.
I was looking at the building you're in now,
dude,
for the longest.
I swear I've had like at least a dozen people tell me that.
Yeah.
Everybody was looking at that space.
It was a dope spot, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love it, dude.
But it was so right for you, though.
Yeah.
And then with your wife having the boutique right there too.
The vintage store.
That works out well.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
Awesome, yeah.
Well, the beauty is
that
you started your business in the boutique your wife now runs. It's attached, and then that's honestly like what drew me to the story of you guys is like you have this kind of whole family of people creating a world that is very unique to each of you guys. Like you've got your barbershop, Katie has her store, and then your brothers have the Last Stand taco spot. But you all come every single week. You all come together and do a bike night, and that was like.
How do y'all not fight, dude?
We fight. We fight. Me and my wife don't fight really, which is
helpful.
Which is weird because we work so close, but she has her thing, so she's always up there, and I'm always like I'm booked all day, so I don't really see her until lunchtime, But yeah, me and my brothers get into it, but we're brothers, that's what we do, and then it gets. You got to fight it out, and then right after, like we're all good. Cool. It's just how it goes, especially when you're doing business together. Shit gets weird sometimes.
Yeah.
It's all love for sure. Yeah. And there's nobody else I would rather do business with than my family.
Yeah, yeah. I wish my brother was competent.
He's gonna hear this, dude.
Oh, for sure. I hope he does. I want him to sting. Ouch. No, I started this podcast with him, but he's my brother's he's doing his own thing. I don't know if you met him yet. You guys.
Just like in passing, I think.
Yeah. He's got his own thing going, and I'm kind of happy to see that, because he needs to kind of see the world without like the business that he's helped me create.
Yeah.
As his like umbrella or his like usher into things. You know what I mean?
What is he doing? What's his thing?
He's still doing paint. This is the
cool,
fucking craziest thing. He's like, he doesn't want to be a painter, but he is a painter, and he has his band, which the music he does isn't bad, but it's like having a band is like having a business. Like
you got to put
it's like having a business, but with like 4 other partners.
Right. Yeah. It's a business and a family at the same time.
Yeah, and you're like constantly trying to like work with people, and so like he had a good run, and then some drama happened, which would make for a great Netflix series, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, he's just like, it sucks, like, trying to be a creative person, but having to rely on other people to come to the table as well to show the world what you've done creatively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, like I said, his music's good, but like, that's a very, very hard business to find success in. And, you know, it's kind of funny because all the things that when I talk to people about chasing your dreams, it all applies to him with music.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's an asterisk at that thing. It's like, look, this is way harder. You're talking about like a very, 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 like, so many very, very talented people barely do deep Ellum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not because they don't do something right. It's just they might not have fucking been seen by the right person, or networked the right way, or marketed the right way, or they missed their prime. Now they look like fucking, what's that Susan Boyle on fucking goddamn the old lady from England singing on goddamn whatever the thing was. Like, you're not marketable anymore. You might have a great voice or a great thing, but now you got to look like a fucking wreck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many things that go into it, as opposed to, I don't know. Like,
I feel like with music, you have to do it every day.
Yeah, dude.
It becomes like who you are.
Yeah, there's
Heart and soul music. You play it every day. You're posting every day. Your brand, your image, your whole thing is all about your music.
So that's one of the, and I don't want to bag on my brother or anything, but that's one of the things that I was talking with a friend about here, is that, you know, the difference between sacrifice and sacrifice, right? Everybody says, man, I'm sacrificing everything. No. Sacrifice means making your life complicated. That means taking away some comforts and making it harder to achieve the goals that you want to get to. So a real sacrifice would be like, all right, you're into music, you know, are you going to continue to have the creatures of comfort that you have, like your job, this? You can't get rid of that, because that's what keeps that comfort.
Yeah.
Sacrifice would be like, I'm going to Nashville. I don't know where the fuck I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm going to make some friends on some Facebook chat room, and I'm going to find a place to crash, and I'm going to go fucking play music in the front of a bar till they hire me to fucking go on stage.
Till I get
or
some
go to
gas
LA,
money
or go this, or whatever. You have no kids, you have no real responsibilities. Fucking go be a fucking, you know, bum. Go ride a train, bro.
Yeah.
Play the guitar on.
That's part of it. People want to hear about that shit.
That's so funny you say that, because when we were staying in Nashville, and I texted my dad, who my dad is like, he's a very straight-laced lawyer right now, and outside of Boston, and I don't really know a whole lot about his past, but he's kind of that dude.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad. But he was kind of like
secret agent.
He was kind of like this vagabond for a long time, and he ended up. I texted him. I was like, "Hey, Dad, I'm in Memphis, or I'm in Nashville. I just want to say, you know, what's going on. We're riding out here, and you know, we were talking about bikes for a while, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, I was in Nashville for a while back in like the '70s," and I was like, "Really? What were you doing?" He's like, "Oh, you know, I went there for like 3 years trying to sell my music."
Nice.
I was like, "What?"
No big deal.
He was like, "Yeah, I was just like, you know, just going to all the record labels out there, just like play my music for them." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, you know that because my dad and I grew up playing guitar together." He's like, "You know that Martin downstairs?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, that's the one I used to bring to all the record labels in Nashville." I'm like, that's I learned to play guitar on that guitar.
That's cool.
And I was like, that's so fucking cool. And like, I feel like that level of because you're talking about like removing comforts, but also I feel like right now, not only we're so comfortable, we're also just so used to kind of like bragging about everything. We're on a fucking podcast right now talking about our lives. Who cares? You know?
Yeah.
But like he's my father, and I never knew that. And he's just like, oh yeah, it's just something I did for like 3 years of my life. You know, just kind of like going out there, living on the street, fucking playing music and trying to sell stuff. And that guitar that you learned to play guitar on is the one I used to play. And I was like, but that's insane.
Yeah, that's just cool to me, man. Like, and that's kind of like where like sometimes social media kind of takes away from the natural aspects of some of the things that we do in life. Like we were, before you showed up, we were talking about the YouTube thing, like how really want to do it, but this force field of like, I got to show the world this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to show the world this through a video. I want them to come with me. You know what I mean? I'd rather show it to you without a camera, without a fake, like, we always make a joke, right? If you want to have a good bike night, just get a couple people that have good Instagram followings and say, hey, we're giving people shout outs. Dude, they show up in their best fucking Dixon flannels, their bike's fucking clean.
Oh, dude.
They're dialed and ready.
That.
You like, and they got a fucking sticker on the thing that says, Instagram logo.
Follow me.
This, it's like, man, I get it. Like, I don't hate the hustle, man, but man, there's just something so amazing by just going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I hear it all the time. And we were talking about it earlier. Like, oh man, I can't go. I only have 3 weeks of vacation, and we got to go to Disneyland this year.
Yeah.
All right, well, just fucking take off work. Oh man, I can't. I just can't afford it.
Can't afford it. Yeah.
Like,
It's because
man.
you have a mortgage. You got 2 car payments.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I feel like that. It's like modern day slavery, dude.
it 100% is, man.
Because you're not going to pay off that debt. You get a fucking $200,000 house, and then you get a 30-year note. You got 30 years till you own that motherfucker. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Exactly.
If the bubble doesn't burst and you lose it for no reason.
So you can't afford to take off fucking 3 extra days or whatever.
But that's why, like that. So me, I live a comfortable life. I'm not, I got a cash car outside, no payment. I love it. It might
I like
break.
cash cab.
Well, it's like a cash car, meaning I don't
Similar
have
to cash
payments.
cab, where I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
like
you
win
just
money in the
bought it
back of
outright.
it.
Yeah, I bought it outright. I paid $6,000 for it. It fucking
That's
works.
how I'm doing everything now, man.
Yeah, but I don't mind having a payment on a bike. I mean, I've had like 3 brand new $30,000 road glides in the last 10 years.
If you have one payment, it's not
Yeah.
like you have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's not like everything is financed.
when it comes to like, guys that just can't get out, they can't get away, they can't chase any kind of wanderlust they might have, because in my 20s I never had wanderlust. I was like trying to figure out how to be a dad and a fucking business guy and trying to be a professional, like learning how to do my craft. And then I hit 30 and I'm like, holy shit, like there's a big world out there that we can go ride to and do shit in.
Yeah, and it's different if you have kids.
It is.
If you have kids, like your
I had 'em
priorities are totally different.
I had kids early, man, so that way I could when I couldn't afford to go to the bar, I didn't have to go to the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Just stay home with your kids.
Yeah, just stay home with the kids and play video games with them.
Make dinner or whatever. But probably I would assume, I don't have kids, but looking back when you're 60 and 70, those are going to be your best memories.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird thing about like being a parent these days. It's a weird thing to navigate, because I think naturally a lot of us have become more selfish, not in a bad way, but just we're all living our own lives and trying to do it the best way and the most fruitful way we possibly can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I want the most experience out of my life.
Me too.
Period.
That's
and it's
how
not
I'm
that
feeling.
I want to be selfish about it. It's just that like I want to not feel regret in my life.
Yeah, and it's
You know?
your life. It's your experience. So you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want. And if your shit's taken care of, it doesn't matter what people think or what they say. If your stuff is taken care of, you get to do whatever you want.
Exactly. So when you have kids though, man, like like they start getting into their things, and they have those other parents that are like their whole life is their kids, right? And that's something that when those kids see those parents, they think those parents are better. But those parents are living their life through your friend.
Yeah.
Their kids. Like those, after those kids leave, their marriages are pretty much over.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
They split
I've seen that happen so much in my life, and it's generalizing. It's not.
No, I
It's
get
not
it.
fact, but
I get it.
I don't know. I've always felt like, I tell my daughter this. It's like, I just hope that I can inspire you to not want to be still in life. I hope you get a bigger wanderlust than I got, and you travel and you go see the world, and you don't settle for some dude in some fucking Hobuck town in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
you know what I
'cause
mean?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to. Like you're fucking young and you're free and you got kids.
Yeah.
Go fucking crazy in the world.
Yeah, dude.
So
Get a motorcycle and travel.
Hell yeah.
on that note, speaking of wanderlust, stuff like that, like what was the first ride that you went on that really kind of inspired that in you?
Dude, you know what? There's this dude who used to ride a big wheel bagger across the country. He's out of the Midwest, and I've been trying to get him on the podcast forever. He rides GSs now. He's all into adventure bikes.
Oh, no way. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I remember when I first got my road glide, I was like, you know what? I want to do some cross country riding, but it was like, then the aspect of, okay, how can I afford this? Because it's not that it's expensive. It's just that when you don't know anything going on, it looks expensive. You start thinking of hotels. Oh, I got to stay at the Hilton. That motherfucker's $200 a night, and then it's this gas and this and this. And it's like, as I started with big wheel baggers and worked my way down to a performance bagger,
Yeah.
my accommodations for staying has changed, and it's allowed me to do more of what I want to do, which is travel. and less worried about where I'm staying every night.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
So instead of spending $300 on a hotel room, I'm camping for $50 with a group of dudes. So I'm like $10 into it. And yes, my back hurts in the morning, but BC powder helps that out.
There you go.
And then we go on to the next day and we have a great time, and I have stories and shit like that. But the traveling thing happened over the course of time of like riding different types of bikes and getting inspired to drag race on sport bikes, do show bikes, stunt ride for a while.
Hell
when
yeah.
those things kind of run their course in your system, because I was trying to be into it, but it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And then you land on this, like, I guess I'll try this. And then that becomes the most thing that speaks to me deeper than like doing a wheelie down 75, you know what I mean? And
I've never done a wheelie. I want to do one.
they're fun, but they're also, you know, you fuck your shit up, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I
Sketchy as
haven't
hell.
done one.
Yeah. I mean, my apprentice that works here, Zach, he's one of the best. I don't know what the best is, but he's a very, very talented Harley stunt rider.
Cool.
You know what I
I
mean?
love that shit.
He's fucking raw, badass. You know what I mean? But I'm sitting here telling him, like, hey, dude, I know you can do wheelies, man. That's cool. Okay, whatever. But ride to Sturgis with us. I want you to experience this. Like, you've got this experience that I'll probably never get with this stunt community across America. That's pretty awesome if you ever look into it.
Yeah.
But dude, just ride a bike cross country just for yourself, like without the, you know, your truck to pick your bike up because you're stunting it and tearing it up and shit. So he's supposed to be riding with us. I need to text his ass and make sure he's gonna have his bike together.
Dude, it makes me think of like cowboys back in the day, just riding their horses across.
That's what it feels like, dude.
It does.
That made me like Western movies.
Yes,
I didn't
fuck
give a
yeah.
shit about them until I started riding across country. And you start going across the desert, you're like, Billy the Kid gravesite?
Yeah.
That sounds cool. I remember Young Guns. You know what I mean?
Well, you could just imagine them riding their fucking horses across the country. There's no roads, there's no houses. And then, like, you see that when you're out there in the openness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just, it feels really good.
So my question to you, Jace, was kind of leading because I wanted to tell my own story because I'm selfish.
There you go. Hell yeah.
And my
Topic of the conversation.
my main, the one ride that kind of started me on the journey of liking long distance riding, which happened 5 years after I really started riding, you know, in earnest.
Yeah.
I was living in Oakland. I was working down in Silicon Valley, and I was doing, you know, this commute that was 50 miles each way.
Were you going across the Bay Bridge down there, or were you going down towards like Hayward and San Jose around?
Yes.
What's that bridge?
San Mateo Bridge.
San Mateo Bridge, yeah.
So I was going over, or I went over the Dumbarton. So I used to go to the Dumbarton Bridge because there's three bridges across the bay, and so I go across the Dumbarton, and I was, you know, driving my truck, and then I realized like this is way too hard. Like I got really into podcasts at that time though. But at the same time, I was going 2 hours each way, and just because the traffic was so bad, so I was like, I'll get my bike and do that. And so I was splitting lanes, going, you know, really irresponsibly to work every day. And then I was like, oh well, I'm doing 100 miles a day. Like, why don't I do something a little longer? And so I saw actually a series that Vice did with Harley back in 2012, I think, and it was with I think it was like Arto Sari and a bunch of other skaters. Called Doing It Baja, and it was.
I watched that. That was a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just like they all got on bikes and they went down to the tip of Baja, and I was like, that sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
And so one day I was over at this bar that I used to live next to called the Ave in Oakland, and my buddy Tim and I were sitting there, and I was just like, hey, do you want to go like on a 4,000 mile ride through Mexico? He was like, all right.
Like it.
And so we ended up just like having this great group of friends that were just kind of like yes people. They're like, all right, cool. You want to do this like crazy thing? Always yes. And so we're like, all right, cool. Well, I think we have the opportunity. We have the crew to do it, and we have the time right now. So let's just go make it happen. So we left. We want to take advantage of the holiday season because that's, you know, everyone has free vacation time basically at that time. So if you want to tack on your 2 week vacation on top of the holidays, you can have a 3 or 4 week vacation. So we ended up leaving. It was the day after Christmas from Oakland, and I was riding to Dinah, and then my girlfriend at the time was riding actually that Sportster that's out there right now. And then my other buddy Tim was riding FXR, and then we had a bunch of other choppers and sportsers and shit doing it with us for my other friend group. And we ended up leaving there, went to Bakersfield to San Diego, and then like we had the moment where we're like, all right, cool. I mean, we got no plans. We have no idea where we're stopping. We're just, the goal is the tip of Baja. We want to go to where the one ends, and then that's
so that it goes all the way down there.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, shit,
it goes to what is it? Cabo San Lucas is the.
Sounds fucking fancy.
I think it is.
Sounds like a goddamn mixed drink.
It's I mean, have you
Cabo? Yeah,
Cabo Wabo tequila.
Yeah, Cabo Wabo. Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar just chilling out there in his fucking
What's up,
mullet,
fellas?
just doing a guitar solo all day long.
I tried to save some for you guys, but
You took too long.
I'm Sammy Hagar. This pussy's mine.
And so we ended up just like being in San Diego, and it's real cold. Like we were going before we hit Los Angeles. Our dumbasses were just like, we'll just bring rain gear because it's El Nino season. So we're like, oh, let's watch out for that. So we had rain gear, but we didn't have any like cold weather stuff because we're like, oh, it's Mexico, it's hot there. Yeah. And we ended up going up the Grapevine when we're going up back in Los Angeles, and it is like 20 degrees, and that was literally the coldest I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we ended up getting through there and all that kind of stuff, and just like kind of being already a little battered. By the time we're about to start what is the quote unquote adventure, which is going to Mexico, and we're like, all right, cool, we're gonna do this. We got no plans, let's just figure it out. All right, whatever, fuck it, and we just did it. I remember like going across the border, and we didn't even have to like check through. The border guard just saw us on our bikes and just started waving us through. It's like, all right,
that was easy.
That's Jesus.
Hope it's that easy to get back in.
Yeah, goddamn. And we're in Tijuana, just looking at each other, and being like, all right, fuck, man, we're in Mexico now.
Let's go see a donkey show.
Let's go.
What's the first illegal thing we can do?
And we ended up just going over and being like, all right, cool, let's figure it out. And it ended up being the best trip of my life. I got a tattoo on my arm and all that kind of stuff. But the beauty of it was that, like, we realized that all you have to do is go and do it. Yeah. Like the whole time, we slept on the side of the road every single night. Yeah. And because like the beauty of the one out in Mexico is that, the truckers have been doing that for years and years and years. And so every time, like, there's no place to stop most of the time on the one. So what they do is just, they park their truck and then they go 100 yards into the desert and they just set up a camp. So there was essentially KOA fucking campgrounds every 100 yards on the one. And so we just were like, all right, cool. This is our hotel every night.
You think that they because they have like those fucking radio comms and shit. And I know a lot of truck drivers listen to the podcast and shit, but how crazy would it be if they like set up these like orgies?
I've heard of that. That's a thing. Yeah.
That's a thing.
That is.
They like set up some like
that was on the
flare that
maybe
goes up
maybe
or
it didn't.
shit.
It wasn't planned as an orgy, but it just turns into that type of shit. It was just like, hey, let's all meet up. Craig over here has some buddies that does like, he knows this is his town, so he's gonna bring the women out. We're just gonna get a couple handles and have a good time.
I don't think it's always women.
What did I get myself into?
Sorry, I had to take it there. No, but I look at, that's one of the professions that I don't think I would ever want to be a truck driver, but I would have loved to do it. I would love to be in a truck with a homie just going across country, just seeing the world that way.
It's the same type of people for sure.
Yeah.
When I got my shovel, my buddy Dickie, Nicholson Fabrication, shout out Nicholson Fabrication in San Francisco. If he's a architectural fabricator, but he's also a bike builder and he does his own stuff, like builds bike for himself. But extremely talented dude, and he was actually holding two of my bikes for me while I kind of figured out my life here in Dallas and kind of started bringing it back over. Yeah. And the people who shipped my bike from his shop to my place here in Dallas, it's a husband and wife. And they ride around the country and they're just chilling out the whole time. And I'm like, that sounds kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like, I don't know if I want to do it with like my wife. I love you, baby, but like maybe just like a homie would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a bike or in a truck?
Well, I mean, like they're kind of analogous in a certain way, where you're just like, you're spending time with somebody, having a shared experience. But I don't know. Like a truck would be cool. I'd rather do it on a bike, obviously. But you make money in a truck.
That's what we were talking about, like doing the Sprinter van thing. Like, I'm totally down to do it. But if I don't have, the worst thing is like when you go somewhere really badass and you're like, fuck, man, I want a bike right now.
Yeah.
And
Toy hauler, dude.
Yeah, toy hauler, like you're saying. So like when me and Britta were talking about it, we're like, let's do it. Because like I said, we have connections all over the country. I can go paint bikes, do podcasts. And she's starting to build her name up as a barber, so she can kind of
cut hair other places too, other cities.
Yeah. So that would be dope, but like I'd hate to go to LA and be there for like 3 months. Yeah. And I'm like,
especially right now,
I don't have a bike.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If you don't have a bike, it's tough, man.
That's why I was heavily thinking more about going back and doing like a chopper, because at that point I'm not that I do want to experience riding a chopper far. Like what you guys did to Nashville, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Before I don't have a back anymore. Yeah. At some point, all this beer is going to fuck up these discs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to help. So I got a window.
CrossFit, you'll be good to go, man.
If I get into CrossFit, I'm going to be a CrossFit guy. I'm not going to be a biker anymore.
Don't do CrossFit.
That's a different club, dude.
You'd be so jacked, dude.
Just do yoga. That's all you need to do.
I tried that.
It's good for your back.
Me and Britta did that in the house. I did yoga a couple times like that. It felt great.
It feels really good because you're all kind of different weird positions, but like the way you feel the rest of the day, it's worth it.
That hot yoga, dude. I fuck with that head.
I haven't done that yet.
It's an experience. I got a sauna in my house.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
It's fucking awesome.
It's pretty cool.
That's like when you experience being so uncomfortable. Like us as humans, we have baselines, right?
Yeah.
And like the baseline of a dude who's like a wheelie guy, for example, he's like, oh, I feel totally normal, just like popping a wheelie at 70 miles an hour, no problem.
Just hanging.
But the normal human being is freaking out, right?
Yeah.
It's because his baseline is different. And so what sauna and what exercise or anything does for you is just changes your baseline.
Yeah.
So if you are in a sauna, it's not fucking comfortable. It's just it's a way to change your baseline. So you're sitting in there and it's like I've got an infrared sauna that I got off the fucking internet, But I was just like, all right, it's an interesting way to like, be able to change this.
Heat shock proteins, brother.
Oh yeah, dude. Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Hell yeah.
But I ended up doing it and it truly changes like the way that your body experiences stress.
Yeah.
It's like, oh cool, I'm going to make myself comfortable being uncomfortable. And then every other time in my life where I'm like at work or, dealing with personal stuff or whatever, and it's stressful, I'm like, all right, cool. I can deal with it now because, my brain's like, oh no. This is like, remember that time we were in like 1 billion degrees for an hour?
Yeah.
You're fine.
Or it's the opposite when it's really cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're freezing to death. You're like, I can make it through this.
Yeah.
And then later in life, you remember, wait, I was freezing my ass off and I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
I'll make it through this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like when I was doing my bike down there, I was trying to cram as much as I could in the 4 days. Mm-hmm. So I'm capable of doing that plus more. But what I have to do to keep this body moving in that situation is not sustainable. It's like fried chicken with gravy dip.
Sounds good.
Lots of Monsters, energy drinks.
Those are so bad for you.
Exactly. It's bad, but it keeps the body rolling.
Do you like coffee or no coffee for you?
I wish I was a coffee person.
Okay.
I like that you specified it's Monster energy drink. Like I thought you had like a bunch of like Monster just hanging out with you.
Yeah,
it's like no, it's Monster energy drink.
We're the Monsters, bro. But no, like so in order to get that done, I have to, I'm gonna try to paraphrase it. I don't even know if that's the right word. It sounds like a good one.
Make it smaller.
I'm gonna try to navigate this.
It's adapting.
Like when I go through a phase where I got to get something done, I know how to get myself in a place, but the sustainability of the way I treat my body and the way I eat and the way I handle my shit is bad. So it's like a beer or two a night or a 12-pack to kind of curb.
2 or 12.
Beer or two?
Yeah. Because like sometimes like, like say for instance, when I first shot the color on the bike, it was not bright enough. It wasn't what I thought. I was stressing the fuck out. So there's also like figure it out, but there's then this deadline. Mm-hmm. There's this deadline that's coming in and it's fucking with you because you're not clear-minded enough to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Beer helps. Beer takes away. 2 beers helps. 12-pack, you're just in another planet.
Yeah.
But 2 beers helps me like push that shit aside and focus on the situation at hand and allows me to get through it. Now the next day, I'm trying to eat healthy today. You know how fucking stressful that shit is?
It's so hard
in this side of town where you have nowhere. We have a Panera bread, bro. That's it. Mm-hmm. And that's not even healthy if you're doing keto. No, like you're fucked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll go to Chili's.
Well, you can make your lunch, but who the fuck wants to do that
Dude,
every day?
I'm a fucking adult.
That's what do you mean?
I'm not making my goddamn lunch.
Where's my mom at? Make me a sandwich.
Lasagna.
Mom,
Lasagna.
Mom!
we want it. So, so here's the thing. When you're stuck in here, so before my apprentice, I'm here alone all day long, right? So imagine you're in your shop. It's dope. It's a nice place. You got these windows. You see the world working out there, but you're alone.
Yeah.
You don't even have customers. You're cutting mannequin hair, bro.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
You're alone all day long. You just want that lunch break to go out and see humans.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
And then now with this corona, now that they don't even fucking hold the door for you anymore, like, fuck, get away, you got corona and shit like
6
that.
feet, dude. 6 feet.
But so I love the fact of hold on. I guess I gotta go outside real quick. Y'all talk for a minute.
We're not important anymore.
No, my buddy's here to pick up this Lexin headset. And his wife's out front.
Sponsored.
cool.
Hashtag spawn.
Hashtag.
All right, well, I'm going to grab a beer while you're gone.
Yeah, get us a beer while you're out there.
Just talk.
All right, cool. I can do that.
Just talk.
I mean, we've been on here for how long?
Not very long. It feels
Not
like
very
a while,
long?
but-
Feels like one?
Yeah, it just flies by.
All right. We haven't talked about many motorcycles. Should we do that when he gets back? Just like force ourselves to talk about motorcycles, seeing as this is like a motorcycle, podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. We'll talk about aliens later too. That'd be cool.
Aliens, no. Okay.
No aliens?
They're not saying aliens are real. They're saying UFOs are real.
Yeah.
There's a
so
difference.
who the
there.
fuck pilots them, dude?
Well, could be robots. You never know.
Who made the robots, dude? Exactly.
I agree with
Exactly.
you. I agree with you.
We'll talk about robots and aliens, and the aliens spell the robots and all that kind of shit. But your bike though, honestly though, because like I want to get handlebars made by the guy who made yours, and we haven't fucking talked about bikes at all.
Are you talking about the shovel?
Yeah.
Oh, his name is Eric, Destroyer Garage. Mm-hmm. So he made they're stainless steel.
They're good looking. They're good looking bars, dude.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, it's a vintage Springer, so you have to make bars for them.
Right.
And I've never made handlebars before, so I just went to the dude that built the bike.
Yeah.
And he built them in one day, and he's fucking cool, man. I just hung out with him and his little kid in his shop, and like got to check out all the bikes that he's built.
Right.
He showed me a bunch of stuff because that's like, the reason why, one of the main reasons why I got that bike is so I can learn, and they're way easier to learn on than the new ones.
Right.
Because the new ones have so much wiring.
The new ones are computers on wheels.
There's a lot of plastic wiring harnesses on that fucking chopper, dude. There's like 7 wires.
Yeah.
And it's just way easier to work on that thing.
Yeah.
Well, the new CAN bus system is also like 7 wires.
Oh, is it?
It's pretty nice compared to older shit, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, fancy boy, school us.
No, I don't know shit about it. I'm a painter.
What you need?
Yeah.
We were just talking about he got a new set of bars made before he went on that trip to Nashville. 'Cause he had those rabbit ears before, right?
Yeah, they sucked. I hate
Those are
those.
sketchy as hell.
I'll never run rabbit ears again.
You had the coolest guy bike ever because it was the least practice. Choppers are just meant to be like as impractical as possible.
That's
sketchy as
what I was
possible.
telling you. When I get into something, I always go to the most extreme.
Yeah, dude.
So like the first shovelhead I had was basically stock, and then I did a bunch of shit to it, right? And it was still basically a stock bike with like, a crazy Frank on the back and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, what they call a chopper. It didn't have the suicide shift, the open primary, all that stuff.
So do you dial it back to the comforts of riding, or do you keep it chopper cool?
Well, so this bike that I have now is, in the beginning, it wasn't comfortable at all.
Yeah.
But now that I got those new handlebars, and dude, I'm telling you, like on the Notches Trace, it's so chill. That road is beautiful. It's so smooth. To ride that bike on that road for my first super long trip was perfect.
Yeah.
And then I have my sissy bar bag right behind me. So I'm just leaning back with my hands on my bars, and I'm chilling. Like I have a backrest. It's very comfortable. It's not, everybody's asking me like, how is your back, crazy for riding it that long.
Every place we'd stop at, people would be like,
All the old
how the
timers-
hell did you do that? We're just like,
I just did it.
Yeah, we just did it.
It's actually quite comfortable.
Yeah, and the Springer front end makes a difference. You don't have suspension in the back, but you got the Springer in the front. So it's
And it's
like
super
a
long too.
Well,
So
it's like a Cadillac.
really easy.
It's real bouncy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a different kind of ride.
Yeah, I wonder how much that, I've always told people, period, because people will always be like, man, like you ride those bikes across country, like,
Yeah.
To most people that go to Sturgis, at least, they're like, man, I don't want to ride here. This looks horrible. If I just trailer here, then I can ride and enjoy it all. But I've always told people, like, you and your buddies riding to Sturgis is almost more, like you said, the anticipation on the ride. Like, that is the most exhilarating feeling in the world.
It's the
Jumping on a
journey.
bike, meeting up with them at 3 a.m. because you're trying to make time across country.
Yeah.
Like you cannot replace that experience, not with anything. Not being the coolest guy on Main Street in Sturgis, nothing like that,
No.
And so,
I mean, that's like back in the racing days too. I mean, still even today.
Yeah.
The coolest dude at the starting line is the dude who rode his bike there, and it goes for every other facet of motor culture outside of even motorcycles. Where if you go to Sturgis and you trail your bike there, go to Born Free and trail your bike there. Obviously, very different shows. But if you're trailing your bike there, it's just like you missed out on so much.
yeah, the experience is there.
The experience is in getting there. It's not in actually being there, it's in getting there.
Yeah, it's the journey.
There's an experience in struggling to do something. And riding a bike cross country, like you were saying about riding a horse, like, dude, there was trains. They could have took a train.
Yeah.
That shit would ride a horse, motherfucker. Be a man.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, you can drive. I get it, man. Not everybody has the time. You don't have an extra 3 days of vacation. You can't ride to Sturgis. I get it. It happens.
Such
right?
is life.
But make it a priority at some point because you're missing out on part of this bike life. You know what I mean? That it's not fancy. It's not Instagram worthy. It might be depending on what town you go through, but you see the country in a different way, man. Like you said, you want to get off the main highway and do these back roads to the Natchez Trace, or I can never say it right.
Natchez Trace
Natchez
Parkway.
Trace.
Is it Spanish?
It sounds. I mean, the phonetic spelling of it is Natchez, so it sounds pretty Spanish.
Yeah. So, you end up coming through these towns, and when you're on a bike and you come through a town, it's like you're doing 60, and then you go down to 15 in some places, and then back up to 60. Like you either see like a city that figured it out and they kept it going, or you see the ones that fell apart because the highway skipped them. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And to me, this shit's interesting, man. It's so much more interesting than like the next Love's gas stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I do appreciate. The Love's gas stop.
Yeah,
if I need
nice.
a shower,
They're nice.
But it's just, man, like I just wish people, and the thing is that a lot of people do it. A lot of people still ride to Sturgis. Like last year, me and my buddy Steve Chamberlain met up in Omaha and rode together from there to Sturgis. And the whole time we're like, fuck yeah, we're badass. We're bikers, motherfucker. Like these hanging out with us.
We fucking made it.
We did it, dude. Whatever, cool. We passed bikes, and bikes were passing us all fucking day riding to Sturgis. People do this shit everywhere. It's just that these older dudes are just doing it. They're not fucking, making a big deal about it on social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about social media. It's about, hey, man, I'm riding with my boys to Sturgis.
Yeah, they're trying to meet up with their friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And they go
That's
every
just-
year.
Right.
Yeah.
It's how they've been doing it for the past 20 years. And like that's the thing that like, younger dudes like us don't understand sometimes is that like we're not the first motherfuckers. I
think we live
who
in
have
bubbles,
done
man.
this.
Yeah, you're not originals.
I was
Quit
hearing
acting like you are.
about so there's these guys I'm starting to like research a lot about like adventure motorcycling and like people doing crazy long trips and stuff like that. And I was hearing about these guys that they did on fucking knuckleheads, like bone stock knuckleheads. They did, I think it was 13,000 miles through the Amazon.
They're fucking crazy.
And I was like,
the
on a
Amazon?
knucklehead?
on a
Yeah.
knucklehead.
You seen the mosquitoes?
And then there was another dude. So it was two guys, and then they finished that ride, and the other guy's like, "I'm gonna do 3,000 more miles." And like that is the kind, like you're not hard, dude.
Yeah, there's always
you're
someone-
a soft little bunt cake compared to the people who have come before you. And I think that because the people who are around us maybe don't do what JC, you have so much experience kind of going long distance and across the country and all kind of stuff. But like the people around you or around us maybe haven't done that. It's easy to think like, oh, I'm the hardest motherfucker in the game. And it's not fucking true.
It's
man.
true, yeah. So that's why like my stance is not about the fact that like I think I'm better than anybody else. My
no,
thing is like,
not at all.
dude, like my narrative is like, look, man, I can't explain this to you. Just come.
Yeah.
Just come. Just camp with us. Just tag along. I know that, you know, we're all grown men and leaders, and we want to lead our own packs, but sometimes you have to follow to find a new path. You know what I mean? And in my life as a biker, I've had to, you know, I've gone from being a president of a bike club to becoming a hang around to a group of people that have no bike club. I just wanted to see what this was about. And I had to put myself in that position to where I'm absorbing knowledge and absorbing a culture that I don't understand yet, to understand if this is something for me, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of biker mentality is like hard as fuck. I'm already a fucking set in stone man,
dude.
And I'm fucking 38, and I guarantee you that I'm gonna change a couple more times before I'm fucking out.
Why does nobody smile on their bike,
dude?
The photo you were taking me the other day.
Yeah,
I was on my shovel. Okay, so we were outside. For those of us that aren't in the room, we were outside Brandon's Brass Tacks Barber Shop in Bishop Arch, Dallas, Texas. Check them out. And shout out, we're sponsored. And we were doing a shoot, meaning Jace was shooting that helmet right over there. Yeah. And my bike was the one that his wife Britta was on, and I had to bring the bike after the shoot. I'd bring the bike back to the front, and I just remember getting on it and being like, fuck, man, this is why we like. I just got on, I kicked it over. I'm like, this is the shit, and I just like.
I thought I had more time to shoot you while you were kicking it, just naturally.
Oh, it's a one kick. It's a one kick bike, dude. It's a one kick bike.
I missed the shot.
It's a one kick bike.
Not with my bike.
And 20 kick bike, one kick bike. But I remember getting on it and just being like, I forgot you were there. I was just like, this is awesome. I was just like, had a huge grin on my face, and. You sent me that photo. I'm like, that's my favorite photo I've ever seen of myself, man.
I like it. I was going to use it as a photo for this one.
It's great.
This podcast.
Chopper smiles.
Dude, like riding bikes is fun, man. It's supposed to be that way. And you know what sucks is like, you know, the more you get into like the politics of it, because there's politics in bikes. There's politics and all the shit that goes on. It gets kind of, it gets stressful because there's a lot more. Like for me, my whole life, and I guess yours now too, rides on motorcycles.
Yeah.
So I'm out having fun, drinking beers and talking shit, but it's almost like I'm out drinking beers, talking shit at my workplace.
Yeah, you're networking.
Yeah. And it's kind of a weird place because you never know who you're. Dude, I went to the fucking bike night, I met you, and you're like, God damn, this motherfucker here.
Here we
are. It's who he is. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never know who you're going to meet. You just got to fucking, like, kind of be yourself at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely be yourself.
But it's tough, man, because you know, I envy the guys that get to enjoy motorcycles without any stipulations. Sometimes they get to just come in, enjoy it for what it is, and then go back to their life. Yeah, and sometimes their life is very motorcycle related, but most of the time it's people that work in other industries. When, you know, my industry, my hobby, my every other hobby I have also all works around motorcycles.
Yeah, your whole thing.
I want to be a photographer. What are you gonna take pictures of? I don't know. Motorcycles?
Probably bikes.
Guess we'll just take pictures of bikes. That's all I know.
I mean, I'm into it.
So yeah, it's a tough one, man. But it's just what it is. You know?
Yeah. It's weird because, you know, when you love something so much, it's like, you know, that phrase, don't meet your heroes. You know? And it's because, you know, you have this thing built up in your head, or even like if you're gonna be you know, say in our experience, we love motorcycles, and then all of a sudden we start doing it for a living. Yeah. And then we start like even a conversation like this now becomes work for 2/3 of this conversation. Yeah. And it's like,
this is just fun for me. So like, I'll never try and make money off of motorcycles just because I don't want to ruin it.
But you do. Look at your Thursday bike night over at Brass Tacks, just FYI.
It's a good time, man.
But you know, once it becomes work, like everyone who I've known because I used to be a music publicist back in the day, and I remember like, you know, getting into that because I love music and realized that you know, a lot of people who did it for the same reason I did, they love music, ended up hating music. It's the same reason how chefs, when they come home, they don't make themselves a fancy dinner. They make themselves like Annie's mac and cheese microwaved.
Yeah. What was that one movie with Russell Brand and
Get Him to the Greek?
Yeah, like that was probably, if you look at the underlying narrative of that movie, it was a real like eye opener. Like if you love music, then dealing with musicians and the business of it is gross.
It's very real, dude.
Yeah.
And
You used to do that too.
yeah, I did.
I used to do that. That's fucking.
Yeah, and you know, now that same kind of thing when I came to the motorcycle industry, I was like, oh, maybe, you know, it's gonna have that patina or that sheen will be ripped off, and honestly, man, like it's the first time it hasn't happened for me, which is weird.
Well, you coming into this industry was good. I think it was a good fit for you because you had already been in the bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you were running FXRs out there in Oakland and stuff like that, you know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago doing this shit. And then this opportunity comes along, and it's kind of like the more I get to know about you and know you as a person, I'm like, okay, it's starting to fit way better. Cause you understand, like my whole business is related about Harley Davidson. Yeah. But there's nothing there's no checks coming in from Harley Davidson, but everything here is from Harley Davidson. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a weird place to be. It's like Harley makes a industry for guys like me and many other people in the country, livelihoods that they don't ever cut checks. They just create a product that allows us to make money on, you know? And it's not so much that it's about making money. It's just that we help people, you know, mold that and shape that bike to their dreams. They know they want it to be that platform, but they need it to be theirs. And so that gives the whole industry of people.
It's a canvas.
Yeah, it's a canvas. They make a really, really great canvas. And I've always talked about how, like, you know, you can make a bike that's complete, that's done. You don't have to touch it. You buy this bike, you turn the key, and you leave. You don't need to do anything to it. Well, that's not motorcycling, man.
Where's the fun in that, man?
Yeah, you got to customize.
Yeah, nice. You have to make it yourself, your own thing, and there's options and stuff like that. But like I said, it's one of those deals, man. Like it's just crazy.
I love it.
No, what's cool. What's cool though. What's cool though is that like the world that we all kind of find ourselves in, whether professionally or recreationally or whatever. It's about self-expression in a very interesting way. That's not like, you know, other like cutting hair or even tattoos or whatever like that. We just all kind of find ourselves in, which is so fucking stereotypical and so shitty, but it's still artistic representations of your personality. Motorcycles are such a different, in my opinion, different way to do that, because not only are they artistic, but they serve a purpose. A haircut doesn't serve a purpose other than looking good. Tattoos don't serve a purpose other than looking good. A motorcycle can actually can be a vehicle of change for you as a human being. It can change your fucking life.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, but at the same time, like a haircut could, you know, when you see those like emotional videos on YouTube or like Facebook,
totally. I don't want to
some homeless dude gets a haircut and you're like, he can get a job now.
I promise you, somebody will get a haircut for they pay that fucking bike payment.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
I've always told people, it's like, you know, it's a bad analogy, but it's like one of those deals. It's like, you want to be, you know, rich, like be the guy that made straws. Like he sells straws everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, hypothetically, if it was one dude that made straws and he was the straw king, and everybody uses straws, like that dude's fucking rich. He's fucking Apple. You know what I mean?
Those are the best things that we were talking about earlier. Like, you know, you don't want to be a billionaire because you're owned by your money.
Yeah.
I want to be the dude who's really rich off something you've never heard of. I want to be the dude who makes the pull cab, you know, when you have a can of soda, the little pull tab on there. I want to be the who makes those.
Yeah, every time he hears that pop, he goes, 10 cents, bitch.
10 cents.
You never heard of me, motherfucker.
Yeah. But I got 20 boats. I got 4 planes off.
There's always that one thing, like those random conversations you're hanging out with guys. Goes, yeah, man, my buddy's dad, man. You know, he invented Velcro. What? Yeah, dude. He's like fucking loaded, man. We're all going to Cancun next week. He said I had 3 invites if you want to go, and like, I guess I'm going to hang out with the Velcro guys, dude. Like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
I need some Velcro.
Yeah, it's like, holy shit, like this dude made a zipper. Who's YKK?
Yeah, who the
dude,
fuck
for
is
real
YKK?
Though?
That motherfucker's fucking killing it, dude.
Yeah, it's every single zipper.
Hopefully he wasn't doing some Colonel Sanders shit where he figured out at like 60 or 50 something. Like you want, if you're gonna become a billionaire, you want to do it Jeff Bezos style.
30s or 20s or whatever.
Just start in your 20s.
Start in your 20s and 30. For shits and giggles, start at 30.
Yeah.
You know, and you put 20 years in it. 50, you taking care of yourself. You got millions. You can keep this shit working right. And then you just fucking live and, you know, buy islands and fucking just live, you know?
I'll buy an island.
There's nothing, like when you see like Bill Gates or you see like Warren Buffett and you see their fucking daily routine, like that doesn't inspire me.
No, it looks fucking lame.
It looks miserable.
Yeah, you're talking about numbers and math and
you
shit.
see Bezos and you're like, dude, buy something, please. I want to see what you're going to buy next.
Yeah, he ain't buying shit.
Why can't we have
He
a
ain't even
fucking
paying
Netflix
taxes.
series on Bezos? I'd rather watch him than the Kardashians.
Right?
He bought a mountain.
Hell yeah, bro.
He bought a mountain in Texas. So my buddy Nick, he helps run this charity called the Long Now Foundation. It's all about thinking long term. So like when we say it's 2020, he says it's 2020. So they think in 10,000 year increments, which is just what people in San Francisco do apparently. But
while they shit on the street, but okay.
Well, I don't think people who shit on the street are thinking in 10,000 year increments.
They're not thinking at all.
But they allow it. Maybe this will petrify.
I live in Texas now.
Yeah.
But he helps run this company or this charity, and I guess Jeff Bezos like wanted in on it and ended up buying an entire mountain. And they made a clock inside the mountain.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard about that. They were talking about that on Rogan.
Yeah, it's a 10,000 year clock, dude. Every time, so it's like it's an art exhibit as it is a clock. So it's meant to like keep time, but also like it's obviously perpetual motion is impossible. So they have to have something that winds it. The people who go in to visit the clock wind the clock. So turnstiles. Every time you go through the turnstile,
I would trust the sun
clock.
more than that, though.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, I think the sun has something to do with it too, though. Yeah.
Hey, excuse me, a solar panel, bro. Tesla, come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
He's coming to Texas.
Hell yeah, brother.
Bringing that Cybertruck. I would get one.
Shit,
Would you?
I would. Fuck
Really?
Yeah. It comes. You can get the model where you basically back out a 4-wheeler. It comes with an electronic fucking ATV.
Wait, it comes with it?
Yeah, it's a package you can get.
Seriously?
Yes, look it up.
That sounds like,
I can't afford that.
James Bond.
yeah.
No, you can't.
That sounds expensive.
If you started your own business and was doing all this shit you're doing for fucking, for yourself.
No, that's dude, I don't even know if I'd be in. I don't know if I'm into the electric car thing. What scares me about that shit is the fact that, like, I'm not opposed to the thing going or the like culture going towards electric, vehicles. Like, I'm actually kind of proud of that. I think it's really smart for us to do the things that way that we use the most of, like cars and things like that, in the long run. But eventually, it's going to be one of those things like electric or fuck off kind of thing.
It's
the culture that we've created now is like there's no in between. It's all or nothing.
Exactly.
And so eventually, I feel like it's going to be like we're not even going to be allowed to have any combustion engine type things.
They're going to tax you.
Tax or just like it's not allowed. You know what I mean?
Like, do you mean like not allowed like legally or not allowed like in terms of like societally? Like it's not cool to have one or like you're not allowed to have one?
I would want to go to the extreme and say illegal. You know what I mean? And maybe 5 years ago I wouldn't have any confidence in that statement, but like I said, going with the climate that we have with cultural things, the way people are unwilling to hear out any sides anymore.
Yeah. They hate you if you're the opposite now.
Yeah, it's like there's no conversation to find a medium ground anymore. It's all this or that, and it sucks on both ends of that argument instead of like the guys and we're like, hey, dude, let's be friends. Here's a toporito.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So
let's talk it out.
But with the electric car thing, I think it's definitely a thing, and then you look at like even future things where they talk about, bringing autonomous trucking. That's going to destroy a huge industry, but it's coming because
that's happening.
That's capitalism 100%. Like you have, hey, I can buy these trucks and they don't fucking wreck and they don't sleep and they don't have to deal with this. And they keep going.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about this dude trying to do an orgy out in fucking Baja. You know what I mean? On our truck's dime.
It's true.
We're the flawed element of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
We like to have sex. That's the problem.
That's true. Yeah, we got some freaky desires, I guess.
Yeah. Like along came Polly at a fucking truck stop. A whole bunch of dudes banging each other out there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I was saying that. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Ben Stiller or whatever.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, it does kind of worry me, and it makes me, I know that, like, we've only been here since the 80s, right?
Yeah.
You're 80s baby too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we've been here since the 80s, and so we've seen relatively small growth, and then we saw the 2000s happen and just like it's like folding over how fast things grow and go from one thing to another, versus like in the 80s feel like the 90s. Like we went from a cassette to a CD.
Yeah.
And it felt like a long time, right? And then the CD only lasted for fucking like 5 or 6 years before technically, Apple came out with the iTunes.
Yeah.
And you started being able to download music that way. And then it took a while for people to stop making CDs and for it to be completely digital. Mm-hmm. And then now we're just here, and it's just like everything we want, dude. Like the things that we have now versus like when I was a kid in high school on the phone with my girlfriend, wishing that I could see her face.
Yeah.
Like, babe, if I could just see you on the phone right now, this one would be so much better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then,
fuck yeah, dude.
And then now, like, I don't even use FaceTime because it feels weird because I grew up without it.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, okay, so do you guys ever have people who like want to FaceTime you? They'll be like,
yeah, dude, my daughter.
Instead of calling you, they FaceTime you?
Yeah.
She's a fucking
future, dude.
It is.
It's the future.
It is the future.
I saw that like now COVID's happening. I'm seeing a lot of people like instead of just calling me or even just texting me, they'll FaceTime me. And I was like, how do I respond to this? How does my brain doesn't compute this?
Dude, you know what I want to do now? Because I've been making my son watch Ace Ventura.
Yes.
Just so he understands that. I want to do the ass man. Let me ask you a question. So like, I'm gonna hit FaceTime. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
You should.
That'd be the best way to like do it. Just so we.
Unless he records it and he puts it on the internet.
Hey, you know what?
Fuck it.
Dude, everything's on the internet now. You can't do anything. You can't do anything. This is on the internet right now.
Yeah, this is
crazy.
It's on the internet.
Yeah.
It's there. But man, like it's a weird world to work in. And when it comes to like wrapping it back into business, some of us, like you, I know you do this. We've all found a way to work with these new tools and make it to work in our advantage, right? But these tools they don't have the lifespan that they did when you're in the 70s and like, you ever watch Mad Men? You watched all that stuff?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like, it seems kind of like very cut and dry, straightforward advertising, marketing. Yeah. It's kind of, like it's...
You make the spot, you make the ad in the magazine, and you're done.
Yeah.
That's it. You have two things.
There's no trackable marketing with it. Like, you just
you put it out in the world.
Analytics.
You hope they fucking like order something off the magazine and check this, and they meld it in.
Yeah. Right. Exactly, dude.
I remember that.
It's so like that's when I came into advertising for the first time was, when that was all really changing. When still half the people who I worked with or half the people who are like my friends or colleagues were still doing TV ads, were still doing print ads.
Yeah.
And I happened to work for digital agencies because I was living in San Francisco. And they were like, "Oh, what are you making, man?" Like these like sick headlines on like a print ad. And I'm
I heard you were saying that on that podcast you did. So you would have to write 200 headlines for a mouse.
Yeah.
And then do 200 more just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. That was at Apple.
Apple.
Yeah. So I worked there for 2 years, and we were launching Apple Music when I was there, and it's like fucking boot camp, man. Like you go over there and people, they see the stuff comes out of Apple and they're like, oh, it's so fucking cool and so perfect. The reason why it is because you didn't see the billion things that happened before the thing that actually, went out into the world. And it turned me into like a fucking machine for a while where I was just like, I was talking to my boss and I would be like, all right, cool. Like here are my headlines for like, say, we're launching Apple Music, right? So it's like, all right, here's the headlines for get people to subscribe or, care about Apple Music. And I'd have, 50 headlines for that. And he'd be like, all right, cool. I like this one kind of. Do 50 more. It was so weird, like, to actually understand, like, that's how we market. Like, in that world, it is so laser focused. It's like fucking surgery every time you launch something.
That's a good way to put it, laser focused, because I would think that would be, to be able to tap into that mind space, to be that focused on a word or a headline.
Yeah.
It's not even like the product. It's like... This is just the words to introduce the product.
Yeah. No, it's perception, dude.
How long did it take to figure out the font?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't my department.
He's got somebody.
Yeah. I got a guy for that.
Yeah. No, my partner was that. So the way that speaking of marketing, all that kind of stuff, the way typical kind of marketing organizations work is speaking of Mad Men also, is that you have, a copywriter and you have an art director. That's the pair. So I was a copywriter. I was one who was figuring out what we're saying and then the art director is what's going to look like. And so, you know, I don't envy anyone who's an art director at Apple because they're, you know, the level of scrutiny my shit went through is nothing compared to what theirs does.
Damn.
Because it's such a visual company, you know. It's just all about, like, you know, they've created a brand that ends up being, you know, so visually centric. I mean, even just look at the, you know, when the iPod commercials came out, it was people like dancing with all the colors and all that kind of stuff.
What was that kid that was the fucking guy for Apple? Was it the guy for Apple?
Yeah.
He was in like waiting and shit.
I feel like his name was Josh or some shit.
Oh, Andy Milanakis.
No.
Okay. He was in Waiting.
What?
He wasn't waiting, but he had cornrows.
It was the Apple versus Mac thing you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember those commercials
yeah.
back in the day. I don't know what you're doing with your phone.
I can't. I'm in Narnia. I forget that there's no service in here.
I got you.
We're in a fucking bubble.
But no, I remember that dude. He was like the main character in Waiting with Ryan Reynolds, but he was the Apple spokesperson for a while. The funny thing about Apple, when it would always come out with something, we would bitch about it. Like just like with Harley, they came out with the Softail. Oh, fucking, this thing's horrible. And that's the best bike we've ever had.
Yeah.
The Softail is the fucking best thing. So what Apple would do is like they would change it. Like we do an update and we're like, I hate this. And then like 2 days later, like, damn, this is fucking better.
Yeah.
This is way better.
Face
you know
ID.
what I mean?
Yeah.
All these different things, man.
Fucking love it.
It's so crazy. I guess what we hate is that like we think we have our life figured out, and then somebody did 200 headlines and figured out life for us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And we're like, motherfucker, you changed me.
Yeah, you changed me.
Well, that's like okay. So we were talking about before we even started the show. You were talking about how you can't run this podcast without having Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Because they're faster and they're better, right?
Yeah.
And so when, you know, this laptop came out and it had Thunderbolts, it didn't have fucking USB, didn't have a thing for your CDs to go into, people were losing their fucking mind. But it's better.
It is.
Because there's someone who spent a fuck ton of time, way more time than you ever have in your entire life, thinking about why there should be Thunderbolts
and where it's going. And you're making an investment on a product, especially for me business wise. You know, investing in this in 2017. This is a 2017 MacBook. Investing in this, then paying, you know, at the time, like I think it was like $2,500. It's like, fuck, man, I just spent $2,500 on a laptop, and all the other brands have one for $13. Yeah. You know, but now, you know, I have
totally different.
Yeah, and now I want the new one because it has 4 Thunderbolts instead of just 2.
Oh, shit.
So this has 2 the best Thunderbolts. So there's like versions.
Is it 2 on either side?
There's 4 on this.
So there's 8 total?
No,
That's
there's
a new
4.
one?
But there's hold on. There's 4 Thunderbolts on the new one and this one, but this one only has 2 of the main,
the 2.0 ones or whatever.
the ones that take a lot of information, and then it has it's Type C everywhere. But you know what I mean. So like I can only run 2 cameras into this. I can't run 4. So with the newer, I can run 4 cameras into it. No big deal, and it can handle it. But it's just nerd shit that I had to. You know how hard it was to try to navigate the waters of the live streaming community as a biker?
Yeah. I bet it was difficult.
Dude, you know how many times I wanted to just ride my bike to somebody's house and knock and say, bro, come outside and say that shit to my face. It's fucking insane.
The internet is savage, man.
And then the more nerdy they are, the more balls. They're so good at talking shit online. It's ridiculous. I'm like, I'm just going to go to his house. I'll figure it out. I'll pay my other nerd friend to figure out where this dude lives.
Hacking the mainframe.
Dude. And it's like you ask a simple question and everybody's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no fucking shit. That's why I join your stupid ass chat room and
that's why I'm
ask this
asking
goddamn question, you dumbass.
Yeah, dude.
And they're like, ban hate speech. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh, shit.
Like, nerds, right? Fucking nerds, man.
Oh, man.
It's cool though to see what you've built here, honestly though, man. The first time I came to your shop was, I think I wrote my shovel down like
I was finishing
a month or
yeah,
something ago?
like late June, early June.
Yeah.
Early June, yeah.
I remember doing that and coming out here, and I'd met you a couple times over at the bike night over at the last stand, and I was like, oh, this dude's pretty cool. All right, cool.
Kinda,
you know, he's all right. Fuck that guy. But no, and I came out and, you know, I knew that you had a podcast. I knew you had, you know, the paint business and everything like that. But I came out here and I was just like, this is the coolest fucking spot I've ever seen in my entire life.
I appreciate that.
Because, you know, as somebody who, you know, I like room for activities. and big areas and tools and all kind of shit. Like, you can talk to my wife. I'm trying to set up a shop in our loft right now, but coming in here, I'm like, oh, this dude, like, you've literally built this whole space to a T, to exactly what you need.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's an adult playground. Like, you come in here and you're just like,
dude,
everything you need to make is here.
So I want to put a mini ramp in the back.
Oh my god,
a little quarter, a little half pipe.
You need that.
I want one so bad.
You need that, dude.
I feel like it's a good idea.
That's the only thing you're missing right now. Besides,
I agree.
Maybe a kegerator.
Well, I used to have this really dope ass vintage fridge.
Oh, cool.
And then my buddy bought it from me, and then he left it here for like a year, and then it stopped working. And I made him pick it up after it stopped working. I was like, hey, dude,
come get it, dude.
I need your shit, dude. So he hit me up and he goes, hey, I'm gonna get this thing to work. Do you want to buy it back? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll buy it back, because it was a dope ass like 49 fridge, perfect patina. The shit was so chopper as fuck, dude.
Very cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
But I want to get that back, and then the thing about, we thought about putting a fridge up in here, but the fridges the compressor makes noise, so it's like in the background and shit. So in the podcast, so it sucks having to walk down to get beer and stuff like that. But now building this room and seeing like even my airbrush, I made a nice perfect room for here, but I spend 90% of my time right on the other side of this wall in this little 8x8 cubby hole
at the desk.
Yeah, with an apprentice on my shoulder the whole time, heating up the fucking room. You know what I mean?
You're breathing on me.
So it makes it kind of difficult to. I wish I would have made a bigger space over there, because I wanted to show more people, like do some live streams like we're doing now with that stuff. But it's like when you put the cameras everywhere, it's like it's hard to move around and do things,
Yeah.
But the thing about this right here is just like, once I started buying all this equipment, I couldn't have it in the shop because it gets dusty down there. Like, if we're sanding a bike, that dust gets in this computer equipment and we're fucked.
Yeah.
So at least up here, it stays clean. I can leave it stationary. I don't have to touch it anymore. And then, it just makes it easier to kind of deal with it.
I love it.
I appreciate that, man.
It's so cool, dude. I mean, so you were talking about stuff that's like chopper as fuck, and you've talked to me a couple of times about you're building a chopper.
I want to. I'm not building a chopper.
But no. But you, in your mind, you're building. You've got designs to build a chopper.
I have a look I want to go with. What I want to do, honestly, and I'm not ashamed to say this. I want to find someone else that built a chopper, and I want to buy it. Not somebody famous, not somebody, which that's even a bad thing to say. Not like a known person's bike. Like, I don't want to buy, somebody that's known for building choppers and take their shit and change it. I want to buy just some dude on Chopper Swapper on Instagram that's already done a hardtail shovel. It's the kind of stance I want.
Yep.
I want to buy that bike, and I want to rip it down, and I want to customize it to my liking.
Yeah. You're going to save a lot of money doing that, I'll tell you that much.
For sure. And the way I look at it is like, I'm a customizer, not a builder. I like to take the things that's already there and make them look better, or change parts, but I'm not building shit. I'm not building a frame. I'm not cutting necks. I'm not doing that shit. And I'm perfectly fine being the guy that you call, hey, that's that customizer guy over there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take that. So, I want to build one. What really fucking did it for me was, like, there's two things that take place the last couple of months. I was riding behind my brother. He has, like, a 98 Dyna.
Yep.
It's narrow. He had his chick on the back, and I'm just like, man, like, that looks fun. Just a small bike.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the bagger. It's big.
Yeah.
And then riding with you guys that night, we went and did that loop. You know what I mean? We did that loop through just cruising the streets. I was like, man, it felt great. I enjoyed it, but it would have been cooler for me being on something more vintage and choppery, if you will.
It's just a different experience, man.
It is.
Like, having speaking of like narrower stuff, for example, like I saw a photo, like when I was in Mexico, I was riding an 07 Street Bob, and my buddy Tim was on an FXR. Obviously, one is a lot thinner than the other, and we were kind of both pulling out. And I saw that photo. I'm like, the thinner stance looks fucking rad.
Yeah.
Man. And I started thinking about, all right, cool, maybe FXRs are kind of a thing. I started doing more research on them and really liked them, and so I had a number of FXRs over the years, and then I kind of like, I think I told you this before, like I Benjamin Button through motorcycling. Typically people like start at choppers and they're like, oh, those aren't comfortable, fuck that. Maybe FXRs because they're still old but they're more comfortable. Nah, fuck that. And then Dynas, and then they just get a brand new bagger.
Yeah.
I kind of like opposite weighted that, and
I kind of did the same thing, but I kind of hover.
Yeah.
So I went from new bagger to FXR. to new bagger to older Dyna to new bagger. I kind of like jump back and forth, but no, I get it. Like it's for me, like I'm a visual person. So when I'm riding with people, I'm always observing everything. And so like I'll stare at you guys riding from this angle. And that's why like photography is something I like, because I will see that angle and I'm like, that looks sick as fuck right now. Like this, and I'm not trying to sound like weird or anything, but like Brandon riding right there, that bike, that style, that just where I'm sitting, where he's at, that's a movie shot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
So that's what I think about in my head the whole time we're riding. So my buddy James that I was telling you about, like we would sit there and talk about like this shit all the time as we're riding across country together, thinking about these fucking movies that we're making in our head. Like we're sitting there riding together and we're like doing this shit with each other and shit. Because it's like that. You know what I mean? Like you see these bikes and you see they're scenic. It doesn't matter if it's a new bike or an old bike. It looks a lot cooler with an older bike. You know?
Yeah.
Like shooting that new Simpson in the shop, in your shop with your bike makes that. You know what I mean? Like
there's kind of like, maybe this will happen in 50 years. Some people are looking back on the bikes that you're building right now, Jace, but like
hopefully
for me, when I'm looking at a motorcycle, you know, when people think motorcycle, you even talk to a kid like, hey, draw a motorcycle. They draw a Harley Davidson chopper.
Yeah.
And that to me is just kind of why that particular motorcycle is baked into all of our brains as the romantic ideal of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, as I'm kind of finding my way into, you know, the world of choppers and kind of, you know, that kind of whole aesthetic, like, oh, it's a very interesting way to, you know, not only create a beautiful piece of art that you can ride, but also the way of riding is so different. Because, you know, I was on a Lowrider S up in Milwaukee recently with some buddies, like just sending it, and it was like I've never been, you know, so effortlessly fast before.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was such a contrast to like the ride that we did through Nashville, where, you know, we're going 55, but we feel like we're going a billion because we're on a chopper.
Because everything's
and it's like shaking off and everything. Yeah. But at the same time, like I enjoy both of them equally, but for different reasons.
Yeah, they're different experiences, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I've always said this to people. Like, I want to experience riding every type of bike cross country.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Sportster, everything. Yeah. Because they're all same roads, same things. Everything's the same. Bike's different
Exactly.
experience.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, man.
Because the bike dictates what you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The bike allows you to be at 55 or 100, depending. And I'll be honest with you, when you're doing 100, you feel like you're getting from point A to point B, but you're missing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
absolutely the only benefit to having, so like we're planning a trip right now that is Denver to Santa Fe, and basically just going through all the green areas on Google Maps, right? And
it's the forest. It's 666 miles.
Yeah,
nice.
When I was planning it, so like what I like to do, and this is the same way that the Mexico trip happened, is I'm bored and I just look at Google Maps. I'm like, where are the green areas? Yeah. And then find the two cities that are in either side of that green area, and then just finding out whatever way around it, you know, to get between those two cities. So I was looking at, all right, cool. There's a huge green area between Denver and Santa Fe. Let's figure it out. And I planned it, and then I looked over to the left side of the screen and it said 666 miles. I'm like, there's a name for the fucking ride. All right.
The Devil's Ride.
The Devil's Ride.
Oh, come on, fucking Yellow Wolves.
Demon Ride.
Satan's Journey. Satan's Journey.
Just say you're riding Satan's dick, bro.
Satan's I will never say that.
No, those kind of trips, man, like, you know, I'm a nerd when it comes to maps as well. Like, I can literally say there, sitting on my bed, you know, trying to fall asleep and just Google Map and look at maps for an hour.
Yeah.
And be like, that looks fucking dope. But the thing about those time of rides, though, is that, like, from point A to point B, the fastest route is like 150 miles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you take that route through the mountains and it's like, holy shit, it's 370 miles now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're this. The thing that sucks about that, it doesn't suck. It's one of those things you have to take in a little bit. Like, for a lot of people here in Texas, when you go throw them on like a Blue Ridge Parkway or PCH, you know what I mean?
Those are my initials, by the way. PCH.
There you go. Fucking
don't throw them on me.
So when you ride that shit, it wears you the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because it's so back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and you have to be on the entire time. When, you know, you get that one road where it's just smooth and you can just fucking like float, that right there is like the most amazing feeling. Instead of like, I love like the riding of like, I'm fucking in it, I'm fucking wired to the road, I see everything, I'm so like in tune, but that shit wears you the fuck out so fast.
For sure.
So you can only do so much of that before you're like, dude, I'm tired of these curves, bro.
Right. Dude, and that's what all the clubs do. They all ride like next to each other going like 100.
Yeah, fuck that.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, man.
But so speaking of like, so the reason why I brought up that ride in Colorado was because, you know, we were talking about the difference between, you know, riding a chopper or riding, you know, a bagger or a dyno or whatever.
Yeah.
Something's, you know, you can go 100 miles an hour, no problem, is, you know, how are we going to get there, you know? And that's the difference between a chopper, because like I want to ride that ride on a chopper, but should I take the low rider and, you know, have the same experience? Probably it's not going to be the same experience.
You got to, like, nobody likes to hear this being said, but you got to go with the group. So if your group is all going to be on choppers and you're the one dude on the bagger, it don't feel right.
Well, it also, but if you're the one dude on the chopper and everyone else is on baggers, you are gone.
Yeah.
You are no longer part of the group because they're a billion miles in front of you.
You're playing a different game. You know what I mean? So like, I get it. Like, so that I have not experienced a PCH on a chopper yet. Which might be a much more amazing experience.
It's so different, dude. Those when you're talking about those, you're not doing the, like when you're on a bagger or you're on something that's got power,
like that,
you know, you are fully fucking in the zone, and it's a race essentially.
Exactly,
you know, because you have the power to do so. Like when we were riding our ride to Nashville, like at no point did I feel like I was, you know, trying to race Brandon, and I assume vice versa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wasn't.
You know, we're just chilling,
dude. All my boys, we're fucking.
That's
the death.
That's the difference.
That's the death.
That's the difference. Is that like, you know, that was, you know, my life for a little bit, and now like with the choppers and stuff, it totally changes the vibe because you literally can't.
Yeah.
Like I top out at 70, you know.
Yeah.
And so being able to, you know, have this bike that is beautiful, it feels great to a certain extent, and you're able to, you know, or rather forced to have a slow, good time. It completely changed. I'm glad that like I started with the fast, you know, that kind of life, and then the fast life.
There you go.
TM.
Oh shit.
And then moved to the kind of slower stuff because it's just a completely different way of motorcycling. So it's so.
Do you
much
find
different.
it like it would be hard to go? I mean, you have a chopper and the dyna, right? So like, what's it like walking out into your garage every day, figuring out which lifestyle you want to live?
Oh, honestly, it's like, what outfit am I wearing?
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I love it.
No.
Tall socks or no socks?
Yeah, exactly. No, it does actually make a difference if you're wearing boots or if you're wearing tennis shoes.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big deal because you don't have a front brake on that fucking chopper.
Yeah.
You know, and you got the foot clutch. So you're only wearing boots that are like, you know, no slip.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I learned on that bike. But, you know, my daily is definitely the Dyna.
Yeah.
It's a 2016 Street Bob. You know, I ride that almost every day just because I can wake up and just press a button and go.
Yeah.
You know, and if my chick has to ride on the back, like, it's comfortable. She's not really like, you know, she'll ride on the back of the chopper, but, you know,
it's not her vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
she likes the bike, but it's probably just not as comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. If she's not comfortable, she's not going to want to do it. And if she's not wanting to do it, she's not going to enjoy it. And I want her to want to do it. Yeah. Because it's something that I really care about. So, you know, it's just whatever I'm feeling that day, I guess. Mm-hmm. But, you know, riding that bike to Nashville was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I learned a lot about motorcycles and myself, you know, and, you know, riding that motherfucker for over 800 miles and then making it to the destination. Yeah. I just felt like I accomplished something that was like unaccomplishable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I really felt like I was like, I fucking made it. And I had to work on this bitch the whole way. So it's just, I'm so stoked that I
those
did
kind
it.
of trips, man, where you have struggles on the way, they make the finish line feel more like a marathon.
Yeah, dude.
Like you just ran a fucking, a 500K or some shit, or I don't even know what the fuck they are.
Yeah, a fucking marathon.
Yeah.
And so when we got there, like we pulled up to this little hotel. It's called the Urban Cowboy in Nashville, which is fucking awesome. If you haven't been there, you should check it out.
Yeah.
It's a little boutique hotel. They had no rooms.
Damn.
And I was like, I'll pay whatever the cost. Give me a room. Because I was beat, dude. I was working on that bike for multiple days. It was hot as fuck. I was ready to chill and have a drink. And so we ended up being able to stay there. But, that whole experience, dude, it was rad.
Dude, that's what a lot of those, I've had those experiences on my trips over the last like 5 years where I leave, I have no issues whatsoever the entire trip. And I've also had those trips where I'm in a fucking Love's gas station with my whole primary taken apart.
Yeah.
And those suck. I've also had those trips where we were behind schedule and we were taking naps in gas station parking lots at 4 a.m. that we were supposed to check in our hotel at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So they all suck, but they all make for the story, the experience, right?
Yeah.
And, the funny thing is, like, the narrative I've been telling you guys all day is, like, I can't explain this to you. I have to show you, right? Mm-hmm. I can make this sound like the fucking worst. I can make it feel like you just went and you're in jail, bro, and you're not looking good. You look like fresh meat, bro. This is your situation. I can tell you that narrative, but tell you, like, dude, you got to do it, man. It's so amazing. Once you feel it, once you overcome that, once you overcome all those dudes wanting to rape you, it's so awesome, man. Like it really is. It's I can't explain it, but those hardships that are on trips, they make you appreciate things differently. They put a lot of things in perspective, and they just dude, it gives you something to like put in the backpack of, like, this is me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's gonna
in 20 years when you're at home and whether you have grandkids or not, you're like, listen down, sit down, motherfuckers. Let me tell you this story about this one time I went to Nashville.
Well, guys, like when you're talking about like being in Love's, with your primary taking part, everything like that, like no part of that sounds fun.
None. Yeah.
But
my buddies. So that story, I don't mean to cut you off, but that story was awesome because my buddy, who's a photographer, a great dude, he had brought a little mini speaker. So he was playing like top 40 dance music the entire time while I'm working on my primary. And him and all my buddies were fucking dancing, doing Instagram stories and shit. And so as pissed as I was, I could not do nothing but enjoy the fact that I'm doing it with these fucking motherfuckers, making a joke out of this situation that sucks for me, but we got through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it builds character too.
It so
and it
does.
separates the people that really want to do it.
I mean, they left the next day because my bike kept broken up. They went and said, we're just going to go to Born Free. You go to San Francisco. Your shit keeps breaking down.
Peace.
Yeah. We're right here.
But that's the beauty of motorcycling too, is like it's really easy to look at a little part of it and be like, oh, no.
A complete turn off, right?
There's no way I want anything to do with it. But once you actually like put your leg over a bike and experience like what we've all experienced, you're like, all right, cool. No matter what, like, yeah, cool. The primary blows up. My brakes, my lines are dead, or whatever. Yeah. All right, cool. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Like,
you can fix
anything. I literally have probably 20 photos of every time your bike broke down on our ride to Nashville.
It was basically every stop. I was tightening something or replacing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a great time.
I'm waiting. I'm going to put it as a compendium of your fuck ups.
They were not fuck ups. They were learning experiences.
It was educational purposes.
Honestly, I learned a lot about motorcycles on that trip.
Yeah.
Because it's such a basic form of the motorcycle that like it's super easy to work on.
Yeah. Do you feel like at the end of the trip, like you had more confidence if you felt like there's a problem?
Definitely.
Yeah.
On all bikes, not just that one.
Yeah.
I mean, like you were saying, it is such a simple form. It is like the most, like a chopper, the whole kind of concept behind it is to make it as simple as possible, right? Mm-hmm. Like take the primary cover off, just you don't necessarily need it. You know, all that kind of shit.
Yeah, if something goes wrong, it's just a bolt missing. You're
exactly.
Find the bolt.
Yeah.
Still got 3 others.
And so when we went over to that place in Shreveport that I wish I could remember the name of, you needed like a little bracket for your foot clutch, right?
Yeah.
And these two motherfuckers were just like, Brandon and the dude who was running the store, they were just in the back bending a piece of metal to make it like appropriately sized.
Yeah, it wasn't the right part. They didn't have the right part, so we had to like
make it work.
Yeah, make it work.
Yeah.
And the beauty of
it's still
those,
on there. I actually like it better than the stock one.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of even my for my bike, it's got mids, but it used to be a forward control bike.
Yeah.
That's just how it came. And so it still has the forward control shifter on it, just because I want it to be out there because it's not in my way, essentially. And the linkage on there was just something that it wasn't super great because it was kind of janky before. And then again, my buddy Dickie from Nicholson Fabrication, he ended up just like, I came back from one day, I left it at his shop because I couldn't bring it home, and I came back and it was just, he was like, hey, I just like fabricate this little thing for there. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, how often, like in my experience with newer bikes, it's usually like it's either perfect or it's really fucked.
Yeah.
And with choppers, they're always just kind of the middle. They're just kind of fucked, always.
Yeah.
But you can always find a good way to fix them.
Yeah, dude. You can rig it.
Yeah.
The people that I've met that are in that scene are some of the best people.
True.
Like when we went to Nashville, I had an intake leak and there was something going on with my Springer. So I hit up this dude.
I saw you had some Springer work done to it.
Yeah, so his name's Jay Ryan. He basically rebuilt the thing.
Yeah. So you got a new front end.
Yeah. He machined the bushings there on site. He fucking the lifter plates, I think is what it's called. He rebuilt the whole thing. He machined the parts. That's just
a lost art though, man. Like, dude, in another 10 years, it's gonna be hard to find those kind of guys that know how to run a lathe and things like that. And
well, I knew about his shop. I didn't realize he was there, but I knew about his shop through MC Shop Tees.
Yeah.
So I got one of their shirts. And then when I was Googling shops, when we got into the town, I was like, oh shit, this is Gusher Cycles. Like, I have one of their shirts.
Yeah.
And so I blew that dude up for like 2 days until he responded to me. And
so chopper.
Yeah, exactly. But
we're closed.
Yeah.
Always.
No, that's the thing. That's like what I'm saying is like the people in that whole scene and, just motorcycles and Harleys in general are so welcoming and they just want to help, like the shop in Shreveport. But this dude like took me in, like his shop is in the back of his house, like his wife came out and invited me to dinner, and like he just, he did way more than I expected. And I just feel like that's part of that whole scene is just helping each other, especially if you're on the road and they know that and you need help to keep going. Like, that's why I love that scene.
Yeah.
And motorcycles in general.
I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, that is totally the thing, but that's pretty much all motorcycles too. It all depends on how you are as a person. Like, if you're a dick and people feel that way, they're going to give you the fucking customer, hey, we're closed it's Sunday kind of thing. But if you're, if you put out the right vibes to people, like, dude, next thing you know, you're fucking sleeping and playing PlayStation with their kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's just that kind of vibe. It's just about who you are as a person and how accommodating or how palatable you are to where you can kind of mold and not necessarily change who you are, but just be fucking
be yourself and be real,
cool, and not be a burden on people. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because I mean, when we went on that last trip, we went to NorCal. Like, our buddy Matt that goes to the T-Bar thing, it's painting the bike for you. He had problems out the ass on his bike.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I knew a lot of people, so everywhere we had an issue, we were able to find someone to help us. But if I was a cocky, which I might be, I don't know, but if I was a cunty dude, basically, I don't know if I would be able to help him out in that same way. You know what I mean? Like, no, and so you have to pay that shit forward too. So you got to think about it. Like, when people come through this town now Dallas Fort Worth is our home base, and when these people come through, like, I'm offering my couch out to people all the time, which is sketchy. Sometimes, but not necessarily. If like, put it like this, nobody's gonna make a Facebook or Instagram profile for fucking 5 years just to get a fucking sleep on my couch to murder me and my wife.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So if they look legit, they don't look like ISIS, then I'm gonna let them stay there. You know what I mean? They're riding across country, they need a place to stay. I'm down with it. You know what I mean? So, dude, the biker thing works, man, for everybody. And then, like, the best thing about all this shit Is it now? You think of Nashville, you think, oh, that place cool. Man, my boys out there.
Yeah.
That shop, I want to go fucking hang out with those guys again. I had a great time. And realistically, they want to hang out with you again too. You know what I mean? Because those kind of experiences like really help them feel like they're actually making a difference as well in things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's the beauty of motorcycles and the life we find ourselves in, is that, they're as much a art form as they are a way to, get you from point A to point B. So if you're living your life out in the world and you're going to get your hair cut, for example, which is how I met Brandon, is I literally, like, he's got a shop over the Adolphus Hotel in Dallas, and I ended up going to get my hair cut there, and talking about this job I was looking to get, and like all this, like talking about bikes, all that kind of stuff, and he was like, "Oh, cool, man, you ride bikes? I ride bikes too." And we just kind of linked up, and then fast forward a couple months, I pulled my shovel up in front of his shop, and he's like, "Are you the guy?" I'm like, "Are you the guy?"
I was like, "Did you get the job?"
And we and the rest is history. Now we've ridden thousands of miles together. And
isn't it cool how like you can you're 37, you're young as fuck.
I'm in my 30s.
He's 31.
Fucking baby face. So like you find these biker people and like you create these fucking ridiculously strong bonds with each other late in life. And you're like, man, I'm supposed to be friends with a guy like in the movies from 16.
Yeah.
Like supposed to be like Bucky Barnes and fucking Captain America. Like we're supposed to go to war together and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then as you grow and you find these different niches of things that you find yourself into, you find people that really click with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Definitely. And I get ridiculed. I've been a very fortunate dude to have lots of friends in my life growing up through basketball, skateboarding, motorcycle shit over the years, even street racing, to where, as I've evolved into different areas, I've made very close friends in each area, and then the other ones are like, "Hey man, what's up? I thought you were our friend." You know what I mean? Everybody's in competition for friendships and shit.
It's hard to balance all of it, right?
But what I love about bikes, man, is like, I've been riding bikes for since '04 now, and I've got friends that I've looked at where I'm still cool with today, but obviously we're not as close as we were back in '06. And I got friends that I'm cool with now that in 18 we were inseparable. You know what I mean? And then I got friends now that I've just kind of started hanging out with, like you guys or some other people. And I'm like, looks like we're going on this roller coaster ride for a couple years or a couple months, or see how long it lasts. You know what I mean? Or not that it lasts like it's a bad thing, but we're all kind of like evolving through life. And sometimes like this wave of life kind of, we're together and we got to fucking make it work.
Yeah.
And like that's how networking is, right? Like you create these things and you start making friendships everywhere. And then it's like, now Patrick has to move to Milwaukee now, so he can't fucking be here every day. So it's like, me and you are hanging out more because we lost our fucking Three Musketeer, right? And so we're like, hey, Pat, we're riding up there to see you. And now we go up there and he's got new friends.
Yeah.
Right? And we're like, dude, man, I thought we were your buddies.
He doesn't even care about us anymore.
So we're in the corner just mad dogging the other dudes that he's friends with.
That'll never happen. I love you guys.
Let's get the fuck out of here. We're going to the strip club.
Let's beat their asses, dude. Just let them know how we do it in Texas. And then we'll buy them beers.
Spray the bullwhip, Texas style.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. But it's cool though, man. Like that, the ability to just have, it's an outwardly facing. Motorcycles are an outwardly facing reflection of your your internal style, your lifestyle, or whatever. And it's an easy way to start meeting people and kind of expanding your circle. Because like yesterday, we were over at a wine bar with our wives, and I had a power plant shirt on, and some dude, he was outside smoking a cigarette, and he was just like, "Oh, you ride?" I was like, "Oh, I do, yeah." And we ended up talking for like 30 minutes. Yeah. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm building this panhead and doing this."
Nice.
It's so fucking cool, and like that's something that is one of the very few kind of cultural touch points you can have outwardly facing that you can just make connection with people without even knowing them.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what the most diverse thing as well, because as my years of growing up in bikes, I found myself sitting in fucking 7-Eleven gas station parking lots for group rides that I don't know anybody there. Yeah. And I'm some bum-ass kid that wet sands parts at a bike shop, and there's a doctor here. This guy does this. Like so many walks of life that come here for the same commonality of riding bikes. And you're and you become friends with them. And like no other setting would that be allowed. Like if we were at a bar, I couldn't afford to drink the beers or the fucking cocktails you're getting. I'm fucking on Michelob, you know what I mean? Or some, PBR or some shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Lone Star.
Exactly. So it's like, you find yourself like rubbing elbows with people of all walks of life. And that's kind of the weird thing. Maybe that would kind of attest to why like it's semi easy to become somebody famous or to do some more famous type shit in the motorcycle industry. Because you never know, like when a Keanu Reeves is going to walk in your shop and decide to do a business with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, I like what you do. Let's fucking fund this thing.
Yeah.
Or Power Plant with Mark Wahlberg and every other fucking celebrity that comes through and buys T-shirts and bikes from that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a weird place to be. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Like you can, yeah, dude. It's
One of
crazy.
my favorite things still about it is just the Harley wave. Like when you're riding by somebody and they give you the salute.
Yeah.
I fucking love that, dude.
So there's a Jeep Wave too, apparently. And I drive.
It's not as cool.
I drive a Jeep. Well, here's the thing. I drive a Jeep, and I saw people started waving at me, and I'm like, why are you looking at me?
It's a signal, like, hey,
I don't
we're
get
in a
it.
club together.
Right, and I'm like, I've never felt that kinship with anyone who's, not a Harley rider or just a motorcyclist in general. But like, that's something that when I started riding, people started waving at me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, we have this kinship now.
Thing, yeah.
And I still, when I see another Jeep, I don't wave to them. But when I see, even when we were going today, before we did the podcast, we were going to get food, and there's that dude who just, gave us a wave. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And all three of us was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It's something that, there's that
I don't wave at Can-Ams or slingshots.
They're not motorcycles.
I don't.
Slingshot, that is a car.
They're not
Exactly.
motorcycles.
You have a
car.
steering wheel,
Yeah.
nerd.
Yeah.
It's
you
very
got
different.
3 wheels. All right.
Yeah. You're in this weird limbo.
Yeah. Some dude at the bar, hey, you ride? Yeah. What do you ride? I got a Can-Am. Like,
Yeah, I ride a car too.
Peace.
scram.
Beat it, nerd.
Yeah. Dude, don't even. I'm gonna stop you right there. No,
Pause.
the wave thing's cool, man. It's I don't know.
It is what it is.
Biker
But
shit's just cool, man.
It's just
Yeah, I love
a
it.
reflection of the larger culture, man. Like we're all in it together. Whether I pulled up when I went over to your T-Bar Tuesday. Is that kind of the thing that some of you put on, or what is that?
No, it's not necessarily mine. It's not mine. Oh, I don't know how to say it right. So Matt runs the North Texas T-Bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
We thought originally it would be better for it not to be branded as the Fast Life Garage thing,
Right.
just so that people that hate me will still come and enjoy this lifestyle.
Yeah, I hate
know
you,
what I-
but I still came too.
Yeah,
People hate you?
Oh yeah.
Is
dude.
he your apprentice?
No. Matt's just he does similar work, like he does paint work and body work and stuff.
He's paying his bike.
Yeah,
I spend my
so
time
he
right
does
now.
a lot of the body work and he does a lot of work for me. You know what I mean? But he recently quit his job and started his own thing, and so I've been trying to be very supportive of helping him with things that I probably wouldn't take on that he could definitely kill on his stuff.
He's so good, dude.
Yeah, and so so when we as a group started we used to do this bike night, which it's gonna be myth before too long, at Anvil Pub in Deep Ellum, which was fucking amazing. It was just such a intimate thing, kind of like what the stand is right now, but it's very intimate. It was very cliquey though. That was the bad thing about it. You had to kind of be in the scene we had a table we all sat at,
Yeah, it's
and
all-
if you
it's
didn't
all
get a chance to
diamonds,
sit at the table, then you can have whatever you want, but sitting at the table meant something. You know what I mean?
You
Oh, I
nerds.
see. It's a round table.
It kind of was, but
That's the king.
that bike night, I was not the king. The thing is, like, when the Dyna shit, I've been telling you about this. When the Dyna shit, when I got into this back in 2016, there was people here riding Dynas already, right? The only thing that I did or tried to do was try to unify everybody together, right? Because there was no bike nights, there was no thing, and we started kind of doing different rides, different events, and then eventually this other thing came along called DFW Dyna Crew, and they kind of did the same thing. And so I thought, well, fuck, that's awesome. I'll just piggyback off that and allow it. Because the problem with, you don't want to be like this tyrant, I guess is the word. Like, you don't want to be the guy that's everything.
Yeah.
Everything is the fast life this. Everything, Jace runs everything. But I'm also the dude that's like, we get drunk and we have a conversation. We're going to start a business tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I'll text you, hey, I got this 10 grand. What we doing?
Oh, I know what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's campground.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we're doing. But that's the thing. Like,
don't talk about it.
It is a thing.
It is a thing.
But no, that's kind of the thing is that I don't like to. I'm just a goer, 100%. Like if I have if I have an idea, I'm capitalizing as soon as possible because if I think about it too long, I'm gonna talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same thing with like bike nights, with events, with things. What I love about the bike night that we originally started, I helped promote it, but I didn't start it. I kind of started it, but I helped promote it, and then Matt took it over. These dudes were just guys that rode bikes in Dallas. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And now these dudes are riding all over the country in less than 2 years. And I mean, you say that like, oh, well, you know, why couldn't they do it in the first year? Well, many things, vacations, getting prepped to be able to mentally go on a trip like that. Do you want to even? Your bike's dialed in enough to be able to take that. And now these dudes are planning trips on their own and doing shit. And I'm fucking proud of it, man, because I feel like I've shown them what I love so much about riding bikes. And now they see it. Now they're showing all their friends to me. And I think that's like we talked about the other night. It's not about like going to the event where everybody is on your level. It's about going to an event where nobody is and changing their minds to what you're doing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That was kind of what I was getting at with the T-bar and kind of, I'll talk about yours in a second too, because they're very similar in terms of my experience there. But like, I pulled up, you know, my shovelhead chopper to a T-bar event.
Yeah.
And I was the only chopper there, and it, you know, places that I've been at before, especially in like Northern California, they're basically telling you to go fuck off immediately.
Yeah.
And so going over to yours, I felt like really cool about it. Like everyone was very like welcoming and you know, willing to, you know, talk and accept and all that kind of stuff. And they didn't know me at all. It was the first time ever
I think
there.
that's the fortunate thing about Dallas is because we're not such a big ass city, big ass motorcycle culture that we are too standoffish. Yeah. You know, but like I said, that the T-Bar Tuesday is the North Texas T-Bar thing. I don't really have much to do with it anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm being selfish right now, and I just want to show up and drink beer with homies and.
Dude, that's the beauty.
I don't want to be a host of anything, man.
Yeah, because then it's like work.
It is.
I want to chill.
And you know, people listen to this, but it's really weird sometimes. Like you guys haven't seen it yet at y'all's at the stand bike night. 'Cause I really don't tell a lot of people that I'm going in there.
Yeah.
And the way I'm fucking framing this statement right now already sounds like some goddamn bougie shit. But sometimes sometimes at the other bike night, man, like one dude will just like pop up out of nowhere that's super fanboying, and it's weird because I'm nothing to fanboy or like this isn't anything I'm just a biker, you know, coming out. But if they've never come to rides with us or hung out with us, they don't realize how normal this is. You know what I mean? And so they listen to this shit all day long, and then they think that, oh, I'm fucking meeting Joe Rogan now, and I gotta.
Yeah, you want like 1,000 of those dudes, though.
Yeah, we all do for business wise, but it's, dude, I'm not wired for that.
But you're not trying to sign autographs the whole time.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Can I touch you, bro?
Yeah.
Only on my dick.
If you can find it.
If you can find it. I haven't seen it in a while. Let me know how it looks. Can you take a picture?
Just make sure it's still alive.
You got airdrop?
You got airdrop. Send me that, bro.
But that's the same thing over though at you know, at the stand at the bike night over there, is that, you know, we'll all go there, you know, you're on your bag, or you're either on your dyno, your you know, chopper, I'm on my chopper, and then there's like lowrider dudes.
Yeah, lowrider
there's
bikes.
All this other kind of stuff, and then you have this whole like just people who love bikes.
People just want a good fucking chill place to go hang out.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Cheap drinks, good food.
The other thing about like, this is one thing that me and my close buddies have been talking about forever, is that like, we're kind of a newer breed of style of motorcycler. It's definitely Harley riders, right?
Yeah.
Where we're not leathered out, fringe to the fucking grip. You know, we're not that persona. We're just normal dudes that look like we do really, I feel like the really cool soccer dad. You know what I mean? I got Vans on. I like to party a little bit. You know what I mean?
Cool soccer dad.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm just older, but I'm still hip. Like, I know a couple of the fucking Fortnite dances and shit like that.
I'm still with it.
Fortnite?
Yeah.
Oh, is
But-
Fortnite hip?
I think.
Oh, shit. I don't have
My
any
son
kids,
knows how to
though.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta get kids first.
Yeah, you gotta buy into that society, bro. But you know, like, so there's certain places, like, even though I love Strokers to death and I love Rick and all the shit he's built over the years, that vibe is just off-putting sometimes for our style of biker, because just like we maybe some of us do, where we judge people because how they look, you know, it's natural.
Everyone does that.
We all do that.
Yeah.
They're judging us when we pull in because the way we're dressed or the way our bike's set up, but not knowing that we probably smash more miles than they do on their fucking 1 week vacation working at Costco.
Weekend
You know what I mean?
warriors, dude.
I'm talking shit now, but
Yeah, it's all
you know what I
good.
mean? Like, so it's like you get into these different places where it's like a standoff community where like one person thinks they're more important than you because the type of bike you rode in made them feel insecure. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now we look younger, more in shape. Maybe you guys, not so much me.
Yeah.
Round is a shape, dude.
Yeah.
Round is a shape.
Yeah, I'm pear
dig it.
shaped.
It's called dad bod.
I got nice shoulders.
Yeah.
See that, brother?
Yeah.
You got
Move the
some.
mic.
They're fortuitous.
Hey, good thing you got sweatpants
That is
on.
a
I'll
word.
fucking make that thing move,
Formidable.
brother.
Formidable. Fortuitous.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, it becomes standoffish, right?
Yeah.
And you got different cultures of bikers hanging out together, and it becomes weird. So,
Yeah.
but I try to bridge that gap as much as possible.
Yeah, you do a good job of it.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the beauty of you know, one of the few beauties of Instagram and the internet and all kind of stuff is that, like, in my feed, for example, I see as many choppers as I do, Dynas as I do, other kind of things. I'll see, like, you know, old school Porsches or Ferraris or whatever too, and then I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful kind of vehicle, and I think that kind of culture is kind of like flowing down into the way that we exist in the real world through the events that you guys do, where I can come in as who I am and be totally accepted and cool, and we'll just talk about motorcycles.
Yeah.
Because that's the commonality. It's not like, oh, what kind of motorcycle do you ride?
Yeah, and the other thing that happens too is that, like, you never, like, a lot of people come up to you, even not even fanboying, but when they know what you do for a living and they know what you do for a living, next thing you know, it's like everybody, you got to figure out their working angles on you.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
And that's, to me, that always gets weird. Like, I've, as a painter growing up, it's always been my key to get into the inner circle with other groups, but it's also been the thing where finding friends that you feel like are true friends is tough.
It's
because,
difficult, dude.
Yeah, in the same breath, one dude will sit there and tell you all his problems in life, which is what we do as friends. We, I need someone to fucking, share my issues with. And then the next breath, as he just told me that he's, doing the bankruptcy, my wife's leaving me, I have no money, can I borrow $100? Hey man, this is what I'm doing my paint job on my bike.
Yeah, see,
Like,
your
what?
priorities are fucked.
Like, yeah, dude, like your angle with me is different than, like, I thought this was genuine, And so that's where it gets kind of weird. And so, like, maybe that's just the 20s culture that I had, like being in my 20s, and motherfuckers in that age group are always looking for a hookup. When you get in your 30s, it seems like most people are like, you know what? I fuck with this dude. I want to go get a haircut from this shop. I don't want to hook up. I mean, I'm lucky my wife works there, so I'm not paying her. I give her that D, you know what I'm saying? So 1D, like 3 fucking haircuts, you know what I'm saying?
Is that all?
Yeah. I'm old.
You gotta find it first.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny, dude.
She's asking me now, hey, where you at? I missed my appointment.
Oh, you missed your appointment? What
what
time is
time
your
is
appointment,
it?
dude?
I guess
It's 5 o'clock.
she blocked me off, so for this.
She blocked you, like, on Instagram?
No.
Are you not watching this live right now? You don't care.
Is this not on the screen?
I'm kind of
over
glad
Brass
my
Tacks
wife
right
doesn't
now?
watch this shit.
Yeah, right.
I guess we can start wrapping it up. We're doing 2.5 hours. We're doing good.
Oh yeah.
But no, man, like I said, you guys are fucking awesome hanging out with you. It's this whole summer, this crazy world we've been living in those last 5 months or whatever, going to that bike night, hanging out with you guys, getting a different perspective of motorcycling through what you guys are doing has been refreshing to me. Because it's easy to fill my feed with my own bullshit, my own shit that I like. But seeing you guys have a good time on bikes, do the trip you guys just did, it's inspiring to me. You know what I mean? Like seeing that shit, you know, is cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
you know,
It's great to meet you. Actually, both of you, because I'm new to Dallas, and you know, being able to understand the lives that you two live, both professionally and also through motorcycles, which, you know, is inspiring to me, but also kind of like, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, we like the same things, and that's cool. But also, like, what you're doing here is just so expansive to what I've even experienced, even the dyno world and stuff like that out in California. And it's just,
you understand, like, I've said this in every podcast, and I keep making a point to say this. We have to work way harder on this side of the Rockies to be relevant on the other side of the
you
Rockies.
pay way less taxes here, so be
It's
thankful.
okay, whatever. Okay, you found a loophole.
I'll take it.
No, that's cool, man. Like, it's a good time, man. Like,
Yeah.
spreading these different cultures across the place. Like I said, I think that Dallas has a culture that is very great experience for people in California to come experience.
Yeah.
And California has California, dude.
Yeah, it is
You
what
know?
it is. I like
So-
Dallas, honestly.
I
dig it
dig
a
it
little
too.
more.
It's okay.
It's all right.
I love it.
Well, tell everybody where to find you, motherfuckers.
Okay. Well, you can find me. My Instagram is Brandon Brass Tacks, or my shop's Instagram is Brass Tacks Barbers with an S on the end. Or you can schedule online and get a haircut, beard trim, or shave. It's gonna be BrassTacksBarbershop.com.
Hell yeah.
Right on. I'm just Patrick Holly on Instagram. So nice to say it twice.
Why'd you do it like that?
So
I think you told me the story, but
I
just
had
real quick.
Patrick Holly because I've got Patrick Holly at gmail.com. I've got Patrick Holly on Twitter. I had Patrick Holly on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I was always kind of the first on that shit. And back in like 2015, I broke up with my girlfriend and I was like, fuck Instagram. I'm just going to like be myself and just go on my bike and ride and stuff. And then I, 3 months later realized that was stupid. I should probably get Patrick Holly back, and some failed actor in England got it for me. So I'm Patrick Holly
loser.
now. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
us, dude.
Jason.
Peace. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to check out these podcasts. And if you mind or don't mind, please check out our sponsors, Dream Rides John on Instagram and teamdreamrides.com, Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram and painthuffer.com. Fast Life 20 saves you 10% off. Thundermax EFI on Instagram and shoptmax.com. Fast Life at checkout saves you 10% off. Lexin Moto on Instagram and lexin-moto.com, and Fast Life at checkout saves you 15% off. And last but not least, my guys, God damn it, I love these guys, Simpson Motorcycle Helmets on Instagram and simpsonmotorcyclehelmets.com. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again shortly, and you guys have a good one. Peace.